just got to keep striking.
Groomed in the Navy, the leader in Dallas, Jim Kubiak.
Congratulations, Grand Rapids. You are a major league town.
Clint Dolzell has been to the pinnacle. He knows what this game is about.
The main reason is we play is for that right there. You know, we play for a ring.
Dallas and Kubiak, Grand Rapids and Dolzell. Division title on the line next in the regular season's final game.
It don't get no better than this, baby. Central Championship, a home field game, packed house, NBC. Time to showcase you what you got, baby. Showcase it. We ain't got no pub all year. It's time to get something right here. Win on three. 1, 2, 3, win.
The words of Clint Dolzell, the quarterback of Grand Rapids Rampage. They're getting set to take on the Dallas Desperados. It's the final week of the regular season. Hey, you use whatever you have, and that's one of the things they have. Al Troutwig along with Michael Irvin and Glenn Parker in the boring tie. Let's talk about the Rampage because they have been taken off the NBC schedule on a few occasions this year as the schedule evolved. And it's obviously on their minds, boys.
I've talked to Coach Michael Trigg up there at Grand Rapids, and it is on their mind. They have constantly said, what we have to prove, we proved to ourselves. We're going to be in this thing, and we're going to get on NBC. They've talked about being pulled off. Grand Rapids is upset. It's in the papers there. We see what happens in
good bulletin
pregame.
board stuff.
I just like to see other people like pub. So that way you guys can get off me. We can talk about Clint Dolzell.
Oh, no,
looking
we're not
for
getting
pub
off you
now.
yet, no.
He's looking for the pub.
No.
He says he want the pub.
It's Dallas and Grand Rapids. Basically, the winner is the Central Division champion and will host a playoff game. That's significant in any sport, right, guys? You want to be at home where people are yelling for you instead of at you.
And you want to win a division. You know, even though the division here doesn't mean that much because you're still getting the playoffs. But Joe Avazone, I know he's telling the Desperados this because he used to tell us, win the little things along the way, and then you can get to the big prize. Win the division, win some playoff games. And the big prize, the Arena Bowl, it will take care of itself.
Well, I was going to say, every time, 14 out of 16, you win the home game, you're going to win the game, and that's the way it is in this league.
Let's talk about Tampa Bay and Georgia because some of the people out there will be seeing that game. Significant because Tampa can clinch the #2 seed with a win. Georgia is looking to just right their ship. Here are the top 4 seeds, the first-round buys, if you will: San Jose, Orlando, Tampa Bay, and Los Angeles, and they have been the class of the AFL since week 1. Now, when you get to the story of the Georgia Force, they lose their starting quarterback. The big question to me is, has Marty Lowe returned any phone calls by you the entire season?
About week 7, I stopped trying, and I said, "That's it. Georgia will go down from here." And it's been pressing. It's been amazing, really.
Hey, Michael, I've got 10 pages of playoff possibilities here. This could all play out today. We want to thank Seth back in the research area. We still don't understand all of this,
Way to go, Seth.
but we know that some of the things that could shake out today are important. Indiana, one of those teams that's really got to have a win.
Yeah, Indiana needs to win. But let's talk about Georgia a little bit. Georgia's problem is Marty Lowe loves to play defense. He returns all my calls. He loves to play defense, but he needs to get his offense playing better. They're like 14th ranked team in offense, putting up about 46.2 points a game, and in this league, that's just not good.
And in their division, they have to be balanced. Everybody else is.
We'll keep you updated throughout the first half of the game that you'll see in your area. But right now, we've got the highlights from one game last night played in the AFL and 2 of the Powers. San Jose off to an early lead, but Los Angeles' Avengers come storming back because Tony Graziani is good, really good. Getting beyond the defense, getting a little help. Greg Hopkins off the turf and into the end zone. 43-40, but the Cats come back. Mark Grebe, James Hunden, 20 yards. San Jose wins it. As you can see on the clock, that means they kept LA's offense quiet for almost 4 minutes, and that is saying something. So San Jose, the defending Arena Bowl champions, finish at 12-4. Los Angeles with a big comeback, 11-5. The final, 47-43. And as we've talked about often here in our studios, one of the fun aspects of watching the AFL is watching the players commit themselves to the perimeter where they crush themselves against the boards. Here's some of the best we've seen this season. We'll see you again at halftime. Thanks for joining us from here at 30 Rock.
That's close enough right there when you get hit and then you're in the front row of the seat.
It's definitely a real match sport. That pad on the wall doesn't give at all. Trust me.
They have to put that darn wall around the outside and it throws a whole nother mix into it. Meet the new guy.
Hi, I'm Bob Holtkamp.
Hey, help yourself to some snacks.
Speaking of which, you know what would taste good about now?
Yeah, a big, hot and juicy cheeseburger.
With everything.
I can almost taste it.
Telling me, if there were a place to get a hamburger that good this late, I'd not only drive, I'd buy.
Really?
Wendy's classic hamburgers are made fresh, so they're always hot and juicy, so you can eat great even late.
You must be the new guy.
Yeah, thanks.
Wendy's, it's better here.
Somewhere between exits 45 and 50, an order was canceled. Somewhere between a hose and a radiator, there was trouble. Somewhere between noon and 2:30, there was a change of plans. And somewhere between where you are and where you're going, there's a Super 8. See you along the way.
Classic moments, classic hamburgers, the AFL and Wendy's. It's better here.
It's a must-win game for the Grand Rapids Rampage. They need a big game from their strong-arm quarterback, Clint Dalzell, and focus from Ricky Ross. Dallas faces the same urgency with sack leader Tom Briggs and Jamie Lovern, who replaces the injured Doug Lytle at center. From Van Andel Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan, it's the final week of the AFL regular season as the Grand Rapids Rampage hosts the Dallas Desperados. This is a battle for the Central Division Championship. Dallas has a one-game lead, but Grand Rapids won the earlier meeting with the Desperados, so a Grand Rapids victory today gives them the tiebreaker and the American Central Championship, and they are guaranteed to host a first-round playoff game. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Grand Rapids. Tom Hammond and Pat Haden ready for this game, which is for the divisional championship. The loser of the game could be playing on the road. The winner is guaranteed a home game in the wild card weekend next week. And Pat, how important is it to these two teams to play at home?
Yeah, Tom, it's no different than the outdoor game. There's definitely a home field advantage, and I think this place here in Grand Rapids is one of the more difficult places to play. You talk to players around the league. You see the number 9. They retired the number 9, the 9th man, the 8-man men on a side, but they retired the 9th number, and it's symbolically it's supporting these fans. They've been fantastic. And for Dallas, I mean, if they lose today, they have to win 4 games on the road to get the Arena League championship game. And history says the last 2 Arena League champions, they played every single game at home, so home field does count.
Well, these are the 2 most prolific offensive teams in the league. And in the quarterback matchup, the 1-2 men in passing yardage in the AFL this season.
Well, if you had to have, a game with a division title on the line, you want either one of these guys as your guy. Jim Kubiak has a chance to break an AFL record for passing yards in a season. Clint Dalzell has had another sensational year. Only quarterback in the history of the Arena Football League has thrown for at least 70 touchdowns in 5 different seasons.
And there is the coach of the Grand Rapids Rampage, Michael Trigg. He was coach of the year when they won the Arena Bowl championship in 2001. And Joe Avisano, the Desperados head coach in his 2nd season at the helm in Dallas. And here's the opening kickoff. Well, sends it downfield. It'll be off the net and takes a funny bounce and finally goes out of bounds. So Grand Rapids will go on offense after Dallas won the toss and elected to defer to the second half. Here's the starting lineup. Grand Rapids with Dalzell, Avery, Marshall, Smith, and Shaw. And up front doing the blocking, Reese, Golston, and Manuel.
This is a team, Grand Rapids, that has a lot of players missing from their roster. They lost 4 offensive, defensive linemen. The 2 defensive specialists are out. So they're going to try to slow the game down a little bit if that's possible in Arena football.
Dalzell with a quick toss to Marshall, spinning his way across the 15-yard line to about the 17, where he's finally wrestled down by a host of Dallas defenders. And looks like Tom Briggs was one of the men to get down there. Here's the Grand Rapids Rampage.
They're off to that great 8-3 start, but they've lost just a pinch of steam to your nose or wherever, and they've lost those last 4 games. And so, you know, not only do you want to win for the home team, the home field advantage, Tom, as Danny White of Arizona told us early in the year, well, he didn't care whether you play on the road or not. He just wants you playing your best football at the end of the year. So this is a kind of a momentum-turning game for Grand Rapids.
Sort of reminded me after one of the Saturday night dinners where you know this. A big play made by Steve Smith. Shaking tacklers finally tracked down by Jermaine Jones. But a big gain for Smith of 29 yards, and Grand Rapids already threatened.
Yeah, Michael Trigg, the head coach, said to us yesterday about Steve Smith. He said he is the quickest football player that I've ever been around. Michael Trigg's been around a lot of quick football players, believe me. He said just that thing, he's so good with the run after the catch. And they've thrown 2 short passes. They're going to try to slow the game down just a little bit.
First and goal. Dalzell's pass to Avery broken up and incomplete. It was Steve Smith, the intended receiver. Here is the starting defensive lineup for the Desperados, with Briggs, Pegues, and Carver. Briggs, the AFL sack leader, though they seem to have figured him out. McCullough, Alexander, Leverson, Jones, and Denton.
Well, you mentioned Tom Briggs. Every team has a plan for him and how you're going to block him, how you're going to protect, block him and fool him. And Grand Rapids is going to do 3 different things. They're going to have what they call a sucker block, where nobody's actually going to block him. He's going to come upfield. They're going to hand the ball to a runner right behind him. They're going to cut block him, and they're going to try to chip block him as well.
Carroll Shaw in motion, trips to the right side. Dalzell with time, and a wide open receiver, and the catch made for the touchdown by Carroll Shaw. So Grand Rapids marches down to get a score on the opening possession.
And that is the 15th straight game that Shaw has caught a touchdown pass. He has had a remarkable year. Their offensive specialist is Shaw. They're really not supposed to be this open in any league. Just
a little push-off.
Yeah, a little push-off, one of those inside and then out routes. So hard to come.
And the extra point is good by Goins. So the Rampage on the Grand Rapids record 40th touchdown reception of the season by Shaw take a 7-0 lead.
People everywhere are discovering a new way to protect their homes and families, all thanks to a new security system called SafeWatch EZ, only from ADT. Now you can arm your system with just the turn of a key. And with no codes to enter, SafeWatch EZ virtually eliminates accidentally setting off your alarm. Get SafeWatch EZ for as little as $99. Call 1-800-ADT-ASAP. ADT. Always there.
The first major advance for the fastest treatment of athlete's foot is Lamisil AT. Lamisil AT is the first non-prescription medicine proven to kill the fungus with just 1 week's use. Not even a prescription can beat that. Lotrimin AF and Tinactin still expect you to treat for 4 weeks. Who's going to do that? When your feet itch and burn, using Lamisil AT 1 week keeps you athlete's foot free 3 months. Lamisil AT. There's no better way to cure athlete's foot.
Next Saturday, take an inspirational ride with a very special tribute to the human spirit, the Volvo Hyannisport Challenge. Next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern, NBC.
World's fastest man, Tim Montgomery. 3-time Olympic gold medalist Gail Devers and more. The Nike Prefontaine Classic. Next Sunday, 1:30 Eastern, NBC.
Well, Dallas is going to get their first possession. That's Steve Tunn, the offensive coordinator for Dallas. What a bright guy he is. And you're going to hear a lot of the nomenclature today. This is one of their typical plays. It's called right X on, 50 stack, X choice. You'll hear plays like that called by Steve Tunn. The right just tells the formation, where the receivers to go. The X and Z, they go to the right. X on just tells the motion. 50 is the 5-step drop by the quarterback. The stack is the outside route, the 10-yard hook route by those 2 wide receivers. But the X choice, that's the key route. That's what Jim Kubiak's going to be looking for. The X can run a post or he can run a corner, trying to put that defensive back in a real bind. So some of the nomenclature, and one of the nice things we've been able to do is follow these play calls by coordinators and quarterbacks. And everybody seems to run the same kind of routes, trying to put those DBs in a two-way bind.
Brian Goins with a kickoff after Terrell Shaw's touchdown. Luke Leverson takes it off the net. Leverson dodging one tackler and then tripped up short of the 10-yard line. Will Pettis, who normally returns kicks, is injured and did not make the team for the Desperados. Jim Kubiak leads his offense onto the field, joined by Alexander, McCullough, Leverson, and Culver. And the blockers are Briggs, Lovern, and Carver. Lovern replacing the injured Doug Lytle, who's out for the remainder of the season after tearing his MCL and ACL.
And not only did Doug Lytle provide a lot of protection for Jim Kubiak, he was their long snapper, and a darn good one.
Jim Kubiak needs only 99 yards to set the all-time AFL passing yardage record. And his first pass is complete. To the 20-yard line, enough for a first down to McCullough. And it's going to be enough for a first down for Dallas. Well, it's going to be just a yard short, actually, where they mark it. As you see the Grand Rapids defense. Avery, Ross, Marshall, Showers, and Grant. This is a defense that's been banged up, especially at the defensive specialist spot.
Both defensive specialists are unavailable today. Mark Ricks is definitely out, and Cecil Doggett, a great defensive specialist, he's suited up and not expected to play.
Second down and 1. McCullough receives the pass across midfield inside the 20 of Grand Rapids, where Marshall puts him out of bounds. It'll be a first down for Dallas, trying to answer the opening drive for the Rampage.
Trips left yo-yo, 50 rage corner.
Kubiak wearing the number 12 of his idol Roger Staubach, and his Grand Rapids Rampage counterpart Cliff Dalzell, also an admirer of Roger Staubach. Kubiak with plenty of protection on first down and a wide open receiver. It's Burks to the 10-yard line, tackled there by Grant.
Tom, you mentioned Dalzell being a Roger Staubach fan. Even though he wears 13, he actually wore 12 all through grammar school, all through high school. When he got to East Texas State, 12 was taken, so he got lucky 13. But he indeed made the most of it. But he said, when we talked to him yesterday, Dalzell, he said, you know, every time I turned on a Cowboy game, Roger Staubach was 7 points behind him with 2 minutes left, and he always brought his team back from behind to win. And you're forced into that situation in the arena game more than the outdoor game. You always have to bring your team from behind at the end.
Continues to wear 13 to show it's not unlucky. That pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. I think Grant might have deflected it, or Manuel was there too, as Kubiak had his pass deflected at the line of scrimmage.
You watch these guys. I think all three of these big guys get their arms up. Good outside rush. Yeah, it was
Manuel.
90. Yeah, Manuel. Yeah. 97. Rod Manuel has had a very nice year for Grand Rapids.
From Oklahoma. There's the Kubiak march toward the record, now just 67 yards away. McCullough in motion. Kubiak thought about it and then threw it away. Coverage was too tight on Culver.
Remember, we talked to Jim Kubiak yesterday, and he has turned the ball over a lot the last 4 games. And one of the things he said to us is that I just have to be more judicious with my throws down here in this part of the end zone. He's thrown 4 interceptions in the end zone over the last 5 weeks. So he says, hey, I've got to know what down it is on second down. He said, I'm going to throw it in the stands, and that's exactly what he did right there.
Ricky Simpkins got a hit on him, too, as he released the football. And that brings up a third down and 10 for the Desperados, trailing 7-0. Culver in motion. Kubiak looks for him, has him for the touchdown. Shannon Culver with a touchdown catch from Jim Kubiak.
Yeah, Shannon Culver, their offensive specialist. When they call plays, he's the Y receiver. And then he started out the season as the starting offensive specialist. And then they kind of changed it and had Diallo Brooks. He's number 5. Just a little corner route. He sees the inside coverage by Marshall, knows he's going to break outside. It's one of those choice routes, Tom, where you can go to the post or the corner. Saw the inside coverage and went to the corner for an easy touchdown.
Former Oklahoma State Cowboy, that's his 8th touchdown reception of the season. Jason Wells for the extra point to tie, and he has it.
Well, so much for slowing this game down. Remember that?
Opening possession. Culver on the touchdown catch from Kubiak.
Yeah! Yeah!
He's fired up for this big game too, isn't he? Shannon Culver has it. It's 7-7.
Sauce is thicker than water. Gather up the family for Denny's Barbecue Days. Taste our hickory smoked St. Louis style ribs covered in rich barbecue sauce. Or for $6.99, try our tangy barbecue chicken deluxe, one of 4 great new meals. Check out Denny's Barbecue Days. You can't help but smile. Denny's, a good place to sit and eat.
Androids. Any sign of body heat will give him away. A heating duct. Your body heat triggers it. Re-engineered degree for man. An extra kick of protection. Droid. Every time you need it. New degree for man kicks in the...
Just how close are you to finding a place with a spectacular view? Head for the mountains of Bush.
The AFL on NBC is brought to you by Denny's. Stop by Denny's today and enjoy our great new barbecue meals starting at $6.99. By Super 8, see you along the way. And by Smooth Bush Beer and easy drinking Bush Light. 7-7 game in a battle for the Central Division title. Jim Kubiak matching Clint Dalzell's touchdown pass. And with 7:11 left in the first quarter, we're tied. And the kickoff about to come as Marshall awaits it.
Kubiak now with 90 touchdown passes on the year. Just incredible.
That was not unusual for you, was it?
Well, if you counted warm-ups.
Kind of took a double clutch bounce. There's a flag down as Marshall was hit. By the time the ball got down to him, the special teams men were already there. Tucker was the first to arrive for Dallas. Let's check the penalty, first of the game. Today's referee, David Lambros.
Kick catch interference on the kicking team. Number 4, 5 yards from the 5-yard line, the touchback spot, first down.
And here's that playoff picture for the wild card weekend next week. Arizona and New York already have locked up home games next week. The winner of this game is guaranteed a home game. If Georgia wins against Tampa Bay, then they can play at home. If Georgia loses, then the loser of this game gets a home game. Got that?
Yeah, I do. You know, the thing, I want to congratulate Todd Shell in New York. Remember, New York started the year 0-6. He came in and lit fire in the team, and it's incredible. And they had, you know, Aaron Garcia was injured for at least one game, and they made the playoffs. So.
Smith in motion, then a quick toss as Smith blocks for Shaw. He takes tacklers with him across the first down marker. Dalzell on that first drive, Pat hit 3 of 4 and completed a pass to each of the team's top 3 receivers, Marshall, Smith, and then the touchdown pass to Shaw, spreading the ball around.
You know, I think the most difficult thing about playing quarterback in the indoor game or the outdoor game is being consistent. And what Clint Dalzell has done has just been phenomenal in his 8 years. We talked about at the very top of the broadcast, only quarterback in AFL history to have thrown at least 70 touchdown passes in 5 different seasons. This remarkable accuracy, tough guy. Quarterback calls him, his coach calls him Texas tough.
There you go.
Try a running play to McDonald, and he's twisted down immediately at the line of scrimmage.
You see Dalzell going over to the sideline to talk to the offensive coordinator, Sparky McEwen. But now you see him. But he really calls his own play. Only he and Aaron Garcia call their own plays in this league. Now he checks in with McEwen about coverage and about pass rush, but Dalzell calls his own.
Second down and a millimeter.
Sure.
Good eyes. Dalzell's pass got more than a millimeter to Shaw. Wrapped up at the 20-yard line, but he makes the catch.
Terrell Shaw, it has to be a guy that loves this league, Tom. In his 4th year out of Southern Mississippi. At Southern Mississippi, in 4 years, he caught 1 touchdown pass. Last game of his senior year. He's caught 40 this year already, with at least 1 playoff game remaining.
From Jackson, Mississippi, graduated from Southern Miss with a business degree.
Doing the business
he's
on this Dallas defense.
Giving Dallas the business so far with a touchdown reception already. Smith in motion. Dalzell lofts it for him for the end zone. Broken up. Nice defensive play made by Burks and Denton to knock the ball away. It was Denton that batted it down, I think. Let's go down to Lewis Johnson.
All right, Tom, thanks a lot. Well, I talked to Steve Dunn, who is Dallas's offensive coordinator. You know, he coached Dalzell in Houston years ago, and I asked him, what do you remember coaching about this guy? And he said, you know, Dalzell was a guy that in a goal line situation, he'd come over for a play, you'd call a run, and Dalzell would just stand there and wait for the head coach to change the play. He was a guy that wanted to pass. He would score when he needed to. Dalzell, he said, is the most competitive football player he has ever been around, including Jim Kubiak, I asked. Ton said yes. Even though Kubiak is very competitive, nobody wanted to win as much as Dalzell did. Football, cards, didn't matter what it was, Tom.
That pass from Clint was off the hands of Shaw and incomplete. It's going to be 3rd down for Grand Rapids.
You know, I found most quarterbacks in this league, most quarterbacks in general, are very, very competitive people. I think we talked to Jake Root in Orlando a bunch of times this year. I don't know of too many more competitive guys than Jake.
Good example. Lewis would appreciate the fact that Dalzell was quite a track athlete as well in his collegiate days.
Well, in college, he high jumped 6'10", and he still holds the East Texas state record for the javelin, which he didn't even take up until he was watching a practice. And the coach said, that the track coach said, hey, you're a quarterback. Why don't you try throwing the javelin? Threw it a couple times, set a record that still stands.
He's on the golf team, too, at East Texas.
3 handicap.
Dalzell drills it, and it's complete. He had some mustard on that one to Shaw. Shaw was surrounded by 3 defenders, it appeared, and Dalzell put it in there on a laser. Jermaine Jones finally got Shaw down.
Sometimes you have to drill it, sometimes you have to loft it, and Dalzell can do both of those things. Now, this is one of those arenas, Tom, that does not have the open end zone. You know, we've seen some end zones that are open. Well, you just talked about this rifle shot here. But this, it's so hard to... Down here, you see the back here, the backboard. A lot of the arenas don't have them, but for a quarterback, it's much tougher to loft that ball in the back of the end zone.
Here's a quarterback draw. Dalzell, touchdown! His 2nd rushing touchdown of the season.
Well, he ran the exact same play a couple of weeks ago against the Chicago Rush. You know, a quarterback draw. You talk about him being a good athlete. He's 6'5", 210, built a little bit like a one-iron. You know, he's kind of tall and thin. But it was funny talking to Michael Trigg, his head football coach, said, you know, he is absolutely country tough kind of quarterback. Waco, Texas.
Flag down and now being discussed. Michael Trigg, a former quarterback. To look at his broad back, he doesn't look like a quarterback's back to me, Pat.
Well, in 1989 and 90, he won back-to-back AFL championships when he played with Detroit. Really kind of an interesting story, you know, almost like a lot of the coaches got into coaching by accident. Personal foul against Dallas. He was really on it, going to go get an MBA, Michael Trigg, and then go into healthcare. He was interning at a hospital after he graduated and got a free agent.
After the play was over, personal foul. Number 38, Dallas. That penalty is declined. Touchdown is good. Try.
Got a free agent tryout with the Minnesota Vikings. Was cut after a couple of weeks. Kind of resented the fact they brought this guy back off of IR by the name of Rich Gannon. And then he played a couple of years and get head coach and general manager at age 27. So he's been head coach here for 10 years.
Well, Gannon may play forever.
Yeah, you're right.
Extra point is good. Joe Avazano and the Desperados find themselves trailing here. Seal blocks. Dalzell uses them perfectly. And scampers into the end zone.
He can have some fun, too.
I haven't been that happy for a long time.
Stick with me.
As the market's changed, I found that it's been more important to me to get the advice of someone like the people that I deal with at Schwab.
The private client consultant, she listens, she calls and says, how are you feeling about this?
Before Charles Schwab advises me to make an investment, they ask me what I would like.
They're there with sound investment advice when I need it.
Schwab Private Client, a different kind of relationship. For objective advice based on your needs, call 1-800-4-SCHWAB.
What brings you to the Rhode Island Culinary Institute?
That's a good question.
What brings you to southern New Mexico State?
You travel many miles. Why Gestalt School of Art?
What made you decide to make the trip all the way to Memphis Polytech?
$139 a week for any mid-size at Budget. For irresistible prices on irresistible cars, call 1-800-BUDGET-7 or visit budget.com.
Whether it's your dream yard or your first yard, if you do it yourself or have someone else do it. More people buy mowers and tractors from Sears than anywhere else in America. We sell Craftsman, America's #1 mower and tractor brand, and from our wide selection, we'll find what's right for you. The right brands, selection, service. Right now, get 0% financing on all tractors until November 2003. Sears. Good life, great price.
Monday, the 15 most outrageous Fear Factor moments are all in one show. The Fear Factor season finale, NBC Monday.
Andel on a quarterback draw has put the Rampage up 14-7. Now Brian Goins is set to kick to Shondell Tucker, who is deep for Dallas. Tucker takes it off the net. With a head of steam. Shaking 2 tacklers and then brought down at midfield by Simpkins. Good return by Tucker in his first try, 31 yards. Well, tonight on NBC, ripped from the headlines, the 2-hour season finale of Law & Order Criminal Intent. Won't want to miss this intense episode. Season finale, Law & Order Criminal Intent, tonight at 9/8 Central on NBC.
Who also got a piece of that tackle was the kicker, Brian Goins. Yeah. We've said so many times, kickers in this league better be good tacklers because you're going to be forced to make something.
Shannon Culver's the motion. First down pass from Kubiak. Looking for Culver. Culver shooting.
Nice coverage that time by number 2, Shea Showers.
Showers on the coverage. Showers. It'll be second down. Dallas fans don't wait for us to get the third down. They're going to make some noise every time Dallas has the ball. Let's make some noise!
6 years in the league and intercepted a Jim Kubiak pass in the end zone in the very first meeting earlier in the year when he really kind of baited Jim and forced him into an interception.
Shea was on a national championship team in Florida. Kubiak has Burks wide open. He dives inside the 15-yard line. Close to the first down marker for Dallas. And that play is going to bring the first quarter to a close. So at the end of 1 in Grand Rapids, the Rampage leading the Dallas Desperados in the Central Division Showdown by 14-7. And we'll be back to Grand Rapids after these messages from your local station. You're watching the AFL on NBC.
NBC Wednesday in 1 week. It's the ultimate talent contest. Fame, part of NBC's new summer season. NBC Wednesday. Celebrate Law & Order's 300th episode with a 2-hour season finale. It doesn't get any more ripped from the headlines than this. A woman drives over her husband. Get out of the car! And a celebrity holds his baby out the window and drops him.
There's a TV movie in this. I can smell it.
The 2-hour Law & Order finale, NBC Wednesday.
Chevy continues to drive the nation. With 0% APR financing for 60 months on every new 2003 Chevy car and truck except Corvette. That's 0% for 60 months or $3,000 cash back on every 2003 Chevy excluding Corvette. It's easy to make offers like these when you're in overdrive. 0 APR for 60 months. See your local Chevy dealer.
Both have the same megapixels. That one's smaller. Great for climbing.
Perfect. With Best Buy's huge selection of digital photography products, you're sure to find what's right for you. And if you purchase a digital camera or digital camcorder $279 and up by May 24, you'll pay no interest for 24 months. Get into digital photography at Best Buy.
The legendary 2003 Chevy Suburban. The powerful 2003 Tahoe. The perfect SUVs for whether you're at the range or completely out of it. Now get 0% APR for 60 months on every 2003 Chevy Suburban and Tahoe. Plus, current and retired military personnel can now get $750 bonus cash.
Chopper 4, working for you.
Tom Hammond, Pat Haden, Lewis Johnson in Grand Rapids. Start the second quarter with the Rampage leading the Desperados 14-7. With Dallas marching with a first down inside the 15-yard line of the Rampage. Shannon in motion. Jim Kubiak standing in the pocket, finally throws it away as the coverage was good and the protection was breaking down. And that man has a souvenir.
That's great coverage because he had a lot of time.
Oh.
No, yeah, by him too. Good hands by him.
Left wax, 32 sales.
Left whack, 32 sales. Z delay on two. Ready? 32? Yeah, 32 on two. Z delay. Z is right on the left part of the screen. Anthony McCullough, right down here. This is Z delay. Corner up top.
And he went to Culver on the other side, taken out of bounds at the 7-yard line by Marshall.
Here's where teams really need to run the ball well. Brissett will be there.
Left, wing plunge, 30 Z fade.
Whoa, wing plunge, 30 Z fade on one, on right. Okay, Z fade, again, that's the last part of hers. Andy McCullough is their Z receiver. Big, tall receiver down here. He's just gonna run a fade route. Your yo-yo motion.
Look for him all the way. Flag down. Pass broken up. Good coverage by Showers. Penalty marker down.
Yeah, he actually didn't run a fade. He came back and ran a slant inside.
Now, did he misunderstand, or was it an option route?
Yeah, might be an option route. If the corner's off, oftentimes you'll run the slant. If he's on
illegal formation. Defense. Number 1 linebacker moving forward at the snap. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat the down. Correction. First down.
It's Robert Smith, the defensive coordinator for the Rampage. Played and coached under Eddie Robinson at Grambling. What a career Eddie Robinson had.
Legendary.
Incredible.
All-time great. And a wonderful gentleman. First and goal now for the Desperados. There at the 3-yard line of the Rampage. Burks in motion. And a handoff is to Alexander. Patrice Alexander into the end zone, but a flag is down. Penalty marker came in just about the time that Alexander crossed the goal line. And
number 97. 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat the down. First down.
Jamie Lovern guilty of the hold to nullify the touchdown run by Alexander.
Well, you mentioned Jamie Lovern replacing Doug Lytle right down here. Like that, is he? Excuse me, 97. There's the hold. Yeah, there. Got his right hand in there, and then the takedown. But Patrice Alexander, I'll tell you, 250 pounds of gristle. I mean, that guy has no fat on him. Scored 7 rushing touchdowns this year for the Desperados already.
He's lined up right behind Kubiak. But a passing down now. Kubiak Now the flag is down. Pass complete to Comer over on the sideline. As Jim Kubiak has become quite the vocal leader and cheerleader for the Desperados.
Good play! Great catch, Skinny! Great catch! Way to block it up! Great adjustment! Great adjustment! Great adjustment! Great call, Steve! Great call! Great call!
He congratulated everyone but you.
He really hasn't met a fan or a coach that he doesn't like.
7 of 11 closing in. He needed 99 yards to set the all-time record.
I think he has a pretty good chance of getting it today. But, you know, we found, Tom, most of the players in this league are just, they love playing it. They play it enthusiastically. And he's just one good example of it. The Rampage are going to have to put a little bit more pressure on Kubiak, though. He has had way too much time to throw the ball.
Ball at the 8-yard line of Grand Rapids. 1st and goal for Dallas. Kubiak throws it away as the pressure finally comes. And another flag. And while we sort it out, we'll send you to Al Troutwig at our studios in New York for an update. Al?
All right, maybe the most pressure-packed game of the day is Indiana and Chicago in terms of playoff implications. What happened here, Glenn?
The simple offside handoff, the Donnie Caldwell 4-yard run, but the big celebration afterwards looks a lot like Michael Irvin.
Oh, I can't dance like that. Back in the day, maybe. 13-7. Back to you, Tom.
All right, Al, and here it's 14-7 Rampage. But Jim Kubiak and Steve Tongue threatening. That penalty again was, didn't hear the call, Pat, while we were listening to Al. Defensive pass interference against the Rampage. Shea Showers the guilty party. And it's going to be 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line for Dallas.
Well, a moment ago, they gave Patrice Alexander an opportunity to kind of run right in behind Tom Briggs, number 93. We talked about Tom being such a good pass rusher, but Briggs has developed in a very good offensive lineman as well. Here on the right side, the right tackle, if you will.
Because of all the penalties, this is the 3rd time we've had a 1st and goal. There's another penalty marker. Burks made the touchdown catch. Will it stand? We'll have to sort out another flag.
Early in the year, Los Angeles had a 17-play drive, which is unheard of in this league. 11 plays were on the 1-yard line.
Illegal defense. Number 34, linebacker out of the box. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
So the touchdown good to Burks, Diallo Burks. Now with 27 touchdown receptions on the season. And Jason Wells will attempt the extra point.
He's got a new center for snaps, Jeremy Butler.
That's because Lytle is injured. Wells, extra point kick is good. So playing on even terms with the Central Division title at stake, Jim Kubiak with a touchdown toss and another celebration.
He's on the box.
Making a little call or two as well. Give him a striped shirt. He was right. We're tied at 14.
Taco Bell's new Chicken Enchilada Bowl has everything you love about a classic enchilada meal. So prepare to experience Enchilada Nirvana. Lift your spirits with grilled all-white meat chicken, seasoned rice and beans, a traditional slow-simmered sauce, and 3 melted cheeses for a taste like no other. To experience Enchilada Nirvana, you've got to think outside the bun.
Well, we had an amazing road trip. It was incredible. There's nothing better than getting the guys together and hanging out for the weekend. We got a little lost on the way. Eric had the map.
Once again, you're pointing here, he's pointing over there. 247? 247, thank you!
Yeah, we mountain biked, did a little rock climbing. We met some friends out there, some girls. Somebody came in acting like an idiot. It could have been done at a different time, but I got back at him. You can't beat a road trip like that, and I'd go again any day.
The new Honda Element. Go with it. Going a full 12 rounds is all about stamina. That's why I like high endurance from Old Spice. No deodorant protects better. And it lasts longer because it evaporates more slowly. Want proof? If you're not convinced, Old Spice will buy you a stick of your old stuff. Let me put it this way. High endurance lasts longer than I do. But I'm working on that.
And start your day with new body wash and body spray from Old Spice. Spice things up.
The AFL on NBC is brought to you by the new Honda Element. Go with it. By Taco Bell, where you can spice up the night. And by Old Spice. Spice things up.
Yeah, Jason Wells, a very focused kicker. He has small aims. And on kickoffs, he talks about having 3 goals. The first thing he wants to do is hit that yellow iron around the net. If he can't hit that, he wants to hit the slack net. It's in between, where you kick the extra point, that 9-foot area. And if you can't hit either of those two, just a regular old net, so you can maybe sometimes get a crazy bounce.
And this time he'll be kicking to Ricky Ross. The key is to kick it off the net and not directly to Ross. That would be way last on his list, wouldn't it? Yeah, high off the net. That was a good one.
That was a third choice and a good kick.
Ross takes it back to the 13-yard line. And let's take a look now at our Super 8 league leaders. This is after 15 weeks of the regular season, not counting this week. And Graziani and Garcia were tied with 92 touchdown passes each. And since then, Garcia with 8, giving him 100 this week. So Mike Murray, even though he's not in the league any longer, has the lead after 15 weeks in receiving touchdowns.
It is a pretty talented receivers there. Most quarterbacks are going to throw some touchdown passes with throwing to those guys. Chris Jackson having a terrific year for Los Angeles.
Flags will stop that play. Clint Dalzell. And
a lot of flags for the 16th game of the year.
Start. Number 1, offense, 5 yards, still first down.
Ross with a false start will cost him 5 yards.
The offensive coordinator, Sparky McEwen, next to Clint Dalzell. Played quarterback here, grew up in Grand Rapids. Coaches a high school football team here in the offseason. One of the top teams in the state of Michigan. A legend here in Grand Rapids, actually.
Dalzell's pass nearly intercepted. Washington was the intended receiver. Jermaine Jones broke on the ball. Was unable to hold it, but broke it up.
Jermaine Jones, number 24. You talk about defensive backs getting a jump on it. And that ball may have been tipped just a little bit. But Jermaine Jones, since he came in, what, about 5 or 6 weeks ago when we've seen him, he's had a terrific second half of the season.
In fact, leads the team in tackles now, and has just been a terrific player at 5'9". He plays much bigger than that. If that ball hadn't been tipped, had been a little higher, he might have picked it off for a touchdown.
How big does he play?
Dalzell's playing big. He's got another touchdown to Marshall.
That's one of those, long frozen rolls. Sometimes you see the short ones. That was another drill shot by Clint Dalzell.
42 yards to to Marshall. Ricky Ross congratulating Willis Marshall.
Well, Marshall in the first game against Joe Alizano's Dallas Desperados team caught 11 passes. And again, this was a perfectly thrown ball. Good read, too, by Dalzell. Saw him early, got the ball to him quickly. And just the proper angle for the safety to go over and make a play.
Luke Leverson was chasing him all the way. Futilely chasing him as Marshall scores. The extra point by Goins is good. And the Rampage again retake the lead. They're up 24-14 on Dallas.
Well, we went out searching for some waves. It was pretty mellow, actually.
Man, chill out. I'm trying to eat.
The car ride out was good, except Luke kept taking his shoes off. Luke!
Oh!
Foul, Luke. We found the secret little surf spot. When we got there, the beach was totally empty. After a whole day of surfing, we just Wanted to crash out.
The new Honda Element. Go with it.
Itchy feet, smelly feet, sweaty feet? Get Gold Bond Foot Spray or Gold Bond Foot Powder. Gold Bond does more. Gold Bond is medicated to help stop itch, stop odor, and keep feet cool and dry. Get more foot relief. Get Gold Bond and get on with it.
I was cooking dinner and I just fell asleep. I tried to get out, but I collapsed. I couldn't call for help, but ADT did. They saved my life.
An ADT monitored fire detector not only sounds an alarm, it actually signals ADT so we can call for help. Get ADT fire protection for just $199. Call 888-ADT-FIRE today.
Honda presents In His Element.
Tee it up, baby. Tee it up, tee it up, tee it up. As we start the third quarter, Cleon Thomas takes the opening kick by Pratt. And here goes Thomas. He's got place to be to get the block. He is... Well, they're looking for help. No, touchdown. Touchdown.
Remember to go to arenafootball.com to vote for next week's winner and automatically qualify for a chance to win your own 2003 Honda Element, which will be announced during the telecast of Arena Bowl 17.
Here, man, make them earn everything they get. Just relax and play football. Make them earn everything. Too many mental errors on our part. Now just relax. We're in it. Things are good. We're up 7. Take a chance here and there. Get a stop. Get this thing done, man. Do it. Central. Yes. Let's go spread, switch, avoid right. Central on 3. 1, 2, 3. Central.
Michael Trigg saying, let's get a stop. There have been no stops yet. We have just under 9 minutes left in the second quarter. And Grand Rapids up 21-14. Goins with a kickoff. Leverson into the slack net. And that'll be a touchback. They'll take it out to the 5-yard line. Brian Goins has hit 3 extra points today. Just had that kickoff. Our degree player profile. Our subject is Brian Goins with the econ degree from Northwestern University.
Photojournalist. Is that a different than a photographer?
In this case,
yes.
He's a photojournalist. Yeah. He doesn't just take pictures, he takes meaningful pictures.
There you go. I knew there was a difference. But what a year Brian has had. He has kicked 3 winning field goals this year for the Rampage. So a big year for Brian.
Including against Dallas. Indeed. Which puts them in a position today, if they win, to win the tiebreaker and take the divisional title. There's Shannon Culver with a grab against the boards.
We talked a lot about the home field advantage. There have been 16 AFL championship games prior to the upcoming one, June 22nd. 14 of those teams have been the #1 seed that have hosted that game. And the last 2 in a row have won, the #1 seed. So, you know, the playing at home, your record really make a big difference.
And of course, Grand Rapids knows all about that.
2001, they were AFL champs.
McCullough's in motion. Kubiak's pass is complete. And wide open was Leverson. Tracked down finally after 14 yards by Lamar Grant as we check in with Lewis.
Well, Tom, you know Grand Rapids assistant coach Robert Smith, the gentleman on the field now taking care of the defense. He's been all over his guys about the mistakes they made in the last series, the flags. And I asked him what's going on. He said, well, you know, the guys are a little nervous. We're trying to do some different things to get Kubiak out of sync, some new things, but he's been all over them. And I said, hey, coach, you know, did you learn this field demeanor from Grambling legend Eddie Robinson? And he said, oh, no, I didn't learn that from him. Eddie Robinson, one of the nicest guys in the world.
Jim Kubiak's completed 4 passes in a row. Make it 5 as Leverson catches this one. Uses his blockers on the cutback. He's to the 15 and wrestled down at that point. Leverson, after making the catch, had some yards after and nearly broke it.
Luke Leverson has actually been one of a good role player for the Desperados. I think of Tim Martin was open there as well. But Luke Leverson, you know, doesn't play every down, obviously, but when he gets his opportunities, he seems to make the most of them. Good defensive back as well. And with the injury to Will Pettis that you mentioned, Jason Shelley also out. He's getting a lot more playing time. returning kicks also.
Travis McDonald saved the touchdown for the Grand Rapids defense. And we've had a timeout taken. 5 in a row for Jim Kubiak.
Here's the problem. The old equipment man.
I hope he's not wearing that, is he?
You know, yesterday,
they were putting a drill through there.
When we were talking to the Dallas staff, the equipment man hadn't shown up. So they were one shy on the equipment man. So all the staff were getting all the equipment ready for today's game.
Patrick Scott appears to be the man without his hat. Which gives us a chance to remind you that in 2 weeks, Saturday, May 31st, the French Open returns to NBC. World's top players taking on the famed red clay at Roland Garros, including defending champion Serena Williams. That's the French Open. Coverage begins in 2 weeks, Saturday, May 31st, here on NBC.
My mother will watch every serve of it. 82 years old, and for some reason she absolutely loves tennis.
Kubiak to McCullough. Taken out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. It's going to be a 1st and goal for the Desperados.
We really have a situation with Grand Rapids, although they lead by 7 points here, really has not figured out a way to get much pressure on Jim Kubiak. He is not getting hit much, and some of it's protection, but they're just not being able to, linebackers or defensive linemen are not shaking their blocks and giving, he's not even getting hit.
And with that last completion, he has set the all-time single-season AFL passing yardage record, passing Aaron Garcia. And adding to his record with a short gain as another helmet goes flying.
Ben Huff's
Ben retrieving it. Lamar Grant. And on the sideline, Patrick Scott still getting his gear back together.
A bunch of nicks up there in that helmet too, doesn't he? Patrick Scott plays that fullback linebacker position where you're going to have a lot of collisions and get a lot of nicks on your helmet. You hope your quarterback doesn't have a lot of nicks on the helmet. Your equipment men aren't messing with his helmet much.
If you're a lineman, you might be looking for a job if your quarterback has the nicks instead of you. Kubiak nearly missed the handoff. Butler. And penalty markers on the play.
Well, what a league. Jeremy Butler's been long snapping today. He's played some fullback. He's played some linebacker. He's played some offensive line. You have to be versatile, and indeed he is.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 96. 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Tim Martin with a false start.
He may have had the penalty, Tim Martin, but Tim Martin has had a great year for the Desperados. We talk so much about the other end, Tom Briggs, but in his own right, Tim Martin, 4 sacks. He blocked a couple of kicks. Remember the LA Avenger game we saw a few weeks ago? At the end of the game, he sacked Graziani, forced a fumble, and then blocked what would have been the winning field goal by Randy Hamilton of Los Angeles. Great year.
Kubiak's 12 of 16. 4 different receivers have 3 catches each. Kubiak, that was nearly intercepted. I don't know. Was it intercepted? Wow.
And you know, that's Chase Showers.
He victimizes Kubiak again.
Same thing in the first game. He victimized him right in the end zone. In the end zone did the exact same thing. Then evaded Kubiak in game 1. I think he did it again. And that is, I believe, the 6th interception Jim Kubiak has thrown in the end zone. It never touches the ground.
Wow.
Wow. That is kind of fun.
Look at that. I thought it hit the ground right here, but it did not. And then he keeps it alive with his feet. Do you think he played soccer when he was young?
He should have. Would have been a pretty good one.
First stop of the game. Rampage up 21-14.
Somewhere between exits 22 and 23, there was a skunk. Somewhere between you're lost and no, I'm not, a map was unfolded. Somewhere between the dashboard and the back seat, there had to be a quarter. And somewhere between where you are and where you're going, there's a Super 8. See you along the way.
Hey, Frank, you got everything out of the stadium, right?
Yeah.
Everything out of the stadium, huh?
The Brute waste container by Rubbermaid. Built to survive just about anything. The Brute tote by Rubbermaid. Built to survive just about anything.
Hey. Yeah. Are those all white meat chicken nuggets?
I don't think so.
Well, is that real bacon on that cheeseburger?
Nah.
Do you have a salad?
Why settle? At Wendy's, our chicken nuggets are all white meat. Our junior bacon cheeseburger is made when you order it. And our salads are made fresh all day. It's the best 99 cents you can spend.
Is anything made fresh when I order it?
Dude. The 99-cent super value menu at Wendy's. It's better here. And our pickup window's open till midnight or later, so you can eat great even late.
Defending champion Tiger Woods, the most powerful force in golf. With one more victory in a major championship, he'll move into third place on the all-time list and be halfway to Jack Nicklaus's record. Will he add to his legend? Golf's greatest championship, the U.S. Open, starting Thursday, June 12th on NBC.
There's the ball. You're going to watch this interception again. What a wonderful play by Shea Showers, number 2. Fully extended. Remember, this is a defensive specialist. His elbows hit the ground, keep the ball away from the turf. Then a little snow cone, and then he keeps it alive with first his left wrist, then his left knee, and then both his feet. I mean, that's a heck of a play. Second interception of a Jim Kubiak pass in the end zone this year.
Kubiak had hit 7 straight before then, and we're told by Lewis that Leverson apparently ran the wrong route. There wasn't any receiver close to where Kubiak threw it. Yeah, McDonald was very close to being tackled in the end zone for a safety. I think it surprised just about everybody that they would run it right there.
It certainly didn't surprise Henry Taylor.
Everybody except Henry.
Yeah.
Henry nearly took the pitch. So mark the ball just at the 1-yard line now. 4-yard loss on first down. Dalzell showing a sidearms incomplete to Shaw. And Shaw caught by the shoe tops by Leverson short of the 15-yard line. And since this is the final regular season game, Pat, it's time to start thinking about league honors.
Well, you know, I think the Iron Man Award, which is for the best two-way player, and these are ours. I mean, the league votes on them, coaches vote on them, fans vote on them. But I think Barry Wagner of San Jose has had an unbelievable year again. He's done everything. Darrell Hammond, we saw him with those 2 interceptions, returned for touchdowns in one game. And then Lawrence Samuels, the 3.5 sacks he's had, the interceptions, played well offensively. I think it's a pretty cool award to get the Iron Man Award. Greg Hopkins is the defending holder of the award.
Dalzell hangs it up for Shaw. Ball finally gets there at about the 5-yard line. It's good for a 30-yard gain.
You know, that is a good throw by Clint, but if he would have put a little mustard on a little more, as we've seen him do, it's a touchdown.
Shaw has to be thinking, come on, ball. It allows Denton to catch up and make the tackle.
Well, Terrell Shaw, boy, he was open by a good 4 steps. When you have Shaw and you have Steve Smith, Ricky Ross, you've got a very good set of receivers.
Terrell Shaw now with 5 catches, 76 yards. Dalzell hits it complete to Smith. Stops short of the end zone. Rampage players wanted a touchdown. Officials say no.
You know, pretty good. You know, that swing pass is like a run. We've seen so many runs inside the 10 and inside the 5. Ricky Ross, number 1, trying to put a block. I think it was on Denton, who kind of fought through that to make a stop.
And Dallas has taken a timeout. Comes with 1:38 left till halftime, so we approach the 1-minute warning. And the Rampage threatening to add to their lead. We'll be back to Grand Rapids right after these messages. The AFL on NBC.
I'm gonna have you eat those ribs. Let's do this. Be serious about this stuff. Look at that.
Come to Papa.
Help steak.
Oh, look at that.
You can never spread enough love. Grab your friends for Denny's Barbecue Days.
These are so good, too.
Taste our hickory smoked St. Louis-style ribs covered in rich barbecue sauce. Or for $6.99, try our tangy barbecue chicken deluxe. One of 4 great new meals.
Check out Denny's Barbecue Days.
Baby, you might want to go in that kitchen and get this recipe.
Denny's, a good place to sit and eat.
Androids. Any sign of body heat will give him away. A heating duct. Your body heat triggers it. Re-engineered degree for man. An extra kick of protection. Droid. Every time you need it. New degree for man kicks in the clutch.
Have you ever spent like 5 minutes with him? He's totally self-centered and insensitive. They just don't go together. I mean, she's my best friend. She has these emotional needs he can't meet. Remember what she went through with Brad? It was just like awful. And now he's the one acting needy.
He's at the 50. He's at the 40. He's going to go all the way. Johnson breaking loose. The rookie's on fire. Wow, this kid's having a huge half. It's just incredible.
You're such a great listener.
Thanks.
America's Serena Williams. She's won the last 4 Grand Slams. Her quest for history continues at the French Open. Coverage begins May 31st on NBC.
Minute 38 left till halftime. 21-14 Grand Rapids. Joe Avezano and the Desperados in the shadow of their own goal line now. Second down and goal from the 1. And still not in. Hand off to Ross, the motion man.
Well, Clint Dalzell's had a pretty good first half. Kind of threw that one sidearm into a wide open Terrell Shaw. Then the scamper, the 8-yard scamper. And then just a perfect throw down the sideline. So you've seen a couple of different kinds of throws. A nice run by Clint Dalzell. No surprise for a guy that's had the kind of career he's had.
And Dallas takes another timeout. They're down to 1 remaining. The clock shows a minute 21 first half.
Well, the seed teams 1 through 12 in the Arena League, you have the best record. You get that number 1 seed, play if you win all the way through the home games. First 4 seeds, 1 through 4, have first week buys next week. So that 5th seed that Dallas
Look where he's at. Look where he's at.
That home game is awfully important, as we've talked about.
Winner of this game gets to play at home next week. And touchdown on the run again by Ross. Ricky Ross bouncing off his own blockers and scooting into the end zone for the Grand Rapids score.
Okay, Ricky Ross is a really good Arena League player. He just can't seem to stay healthy. This is his 10th game this year. He missed 5 games with the high ankle sprain, but when he plays, very good receiver, and as you see down by the goal line, a pretty strong runner. 3rd-year player out of Missouri.
He has 3 receiving touchdowns, 1 field goal return for a touchdown, a kickoff return for a touchdown, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and now a running score. So the extra point will come up in just a moment. First, we'll take a break.
The unexpected can be planned for. Tires with proven stopping power. On the wings of Goodyear.
Give me your backpack.
Suarez, I have some good news. I'm taking you out.
Oh, you said you had good news.
I do. I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. Give me the ball.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. in 1 week. Tuesday's getting bigger, better, and wetter. Last summer's hit show Dog Eat Dog is back. It's 3 games in 1, with more brawn, more brains, more strategy, and even more bruh. An all-new Dog Eat Dog 2-hour premiere, NBC Tuesday in 1 week.
Do we have a Tampa score?
Welcome back to Grand Rapids, where the Rampage are set to attack the extra point.
There's blitz.
Blitz.
Yeah. Only blitzing allowed in this league is by the mascot.
Brian Goins with the extra point kick, and it's down the center. And Grand Rapids, at the 1-minute warning, takes a 28-14 lead on Dallas. And the winner of this game assured of a home game next week in the first round of the playoffs. And a little iffy on the loser of this game if Georgia beats Tampa Bay later today.
And we know that Arizona has a home game, right? And New York has a home game already.
And the loser of this game will be on the road if Georgia beats Tampa Bay later.
And you just think about that. To win the championship, that means you have to win 4 games on the road. And in these tight little configurations of these arenas, I think it's a very, very difficult thing to do.
Jim Kubiak has already set the all-time AFL single-season passing mark, but he's trailing by 14.
Now, should we put a little asterisk on that?
I think you should.
Yeah, 16-game season. Yeah, 16-game season. Hate to spoil Jim's parade. By the way, congratulations to Jim and his wife, Jennifer, expecting their 2nd child.
Jennifer already has a daughter, Abby.
High school sweethearts from Buffalo, New York.
Goins to kick to Leverson. Off the iron, top hop. Leverson corrals it. And is going to stay in the end zone. Touchback, flag down.
You must attempt to bring it out of the end zone. Maybe that's what the penalty's about.
Receiving team not bringing the ball out of the end zone. Bring the ball to the 5, half the distance, first down.
Nice call, Pat.
Well, I've been doing this now for, what, 16 weeks? Getting the hang of it?
Yeah. Just sort of. Joe was saying, look, he was trying to come out. How do you know what he was thinking?
Joe was funny yesterday when we were talking with him. I said, Joe, you realize on 2-point plays, you're 9 for 9 this year? He said, you kidding? I said, yeah, you're 9 for 9. He said, I got to start calling more of this. Start calling more 2-point plays.
All right, here we go.
Well, right now, with a minute left in the first half, they find themselves down 2 touchdowns. Kubiak's going for one here. Culver with a catch at the 20-yard line. Tackled by Showers. And a quick hit of 27 yards on the first play of the drive.
Once again, superb protection for Jim Kubiak. Allows this long route to be run by Shandon Culver. Really just kind of had Shea Showers thinking he was going deep. Cuts off the end and then a perfectly thrown ball by Kubiak.
First down, 20-yard line of Grand Rapids. Kubiak again with protection. Culver catches it and then is covered just inside the 15 where he fell down by Showers again.
It didn't get out of bounds, though. The clock continues to run. Do they call a time?
Timeout is taken. Stops the clock with 41 seconds. Grand Rapids takes the timeout. Dallas, of course, hoping to score with no time left. Grand Rapids stops the clock. 41 seconds left in the half.
Taco Bell's new Chicken Enchilada Bowl has everything you love about a classic enchilada meal. One bite, and you may experience Enchilada Nirvana. Grilled all-white meat chicken, seasoned rice and beans, a traditional slow-simmered sauce, and a blend of 3 cheeses. All melting together for a taste that'll lift your spirits. To experience Enchilada Nirvana, you've got to think outside the bun.
Charles Schwab suggested different investments based upon my risk tolerance and my station in life.
They do care, and they do want to know, as your life changes and as you grow,
How can they help you?
You can't just be in the stock market in these days. You have to have other investments.
At my age, I need income, not speculation.
We can help you put together a well-balanced portfolio by going beyond equities to include fixed income investments and cash management. To learn more, call 1-800-7-SCHWAB.
41 seconds left till halftime. 28-14, Grand Rapids. Jim Kubiak of Dallas has hit 9 of his last 10 passes. The only one that wasn't complete was intercepted in the end zone. Kubiak lofts it. McCullough was the intended receiver.
That was good luck.
Showers was there with him.
And Tom, one of the few times Jim Kubiak's been hassled, and that was by Travis McDonald.
It's going to bring up a third down.
Rage left, wide loop, wing laser, on one, ready. Wing. Wide loop is his offensive specialist, Shannon Culver. He's going to go in motion. He's going to be the guy that first read for Kubiak.
It's kind of a screen pass, complete to Burks. Didn't get much. And he does get out of bounds to stop the clock with 32 seconds.
Remember what the Rampage are hoping for, those coveted back-to-back possessions.
Trips right, zoom in. 32, sail, slip, see sail.
Yeah, sail route is the corner.
Trips right, zoom in. 32, slip, Z sail, on two, ready?
140 yards by Kubiak, enables him to set the single season record.
Z is again the guy in motion, McCullough here.
And it's Burks that makes the catch at about the 7-yard line. Blasted out of bounds there by Showers.
But got the first down.
That was a fourth down play, and they got the first. First and goal for Dallas. Clock at 28 seconds.
Trade trip. Trips left.
Yeah.
Trips left. Zoom in. 50, slip, switch. On two, ready?
Slip, I believe that's a screen, which would be like a running play for them.
Akron.
There are the trips left, as you see. 3 receivers to the left side. McCullough in motion. Kubiak, touchdown. Catch made by Culver. Shannon Culver's second touchdown catch of the game.
Shannon Culver has come back as the featured offensive specialist and had a very nice first half.
So Dallas scores with 22 seconds remaining. 6 catches, 2 touchdowns for Shannon Culver today.
Grandmama, grandpapa, everybody in my hometown, Palmdale, California.
For the Rampage, though, they're going to have plenty of time to score and then get the second half possession.
Jason Wells tries to add the point after, and it's good. Shannon Culver with his second catch from Kubiak for a score.
Just kind of lofted over.
That's a touchdown! Nice job, Skinny. Great job.
Now Skinny's the nickname of Culver.
Great job. Way to hang in there. Way to hang in there.
One enthusiastic quarterback and a pretty doggone good one as well.
Hell, they letting your daddy get down, do something out here, down and dirty. All the way out here in Texas.
Well, the only stop in the first half was the Grand Rapids interception of Kubiak in the end zone. That's the difference in the game right now with 22 seconds left. And Kubiak's hoping his defense can come up with a stop.
And I think Mike Trigg has sent in to return the kick, number 84, Steve Smith, who's returned 3 kickoffs for touchdowns this year. I was talking to Michael Trigg yesterday saying if we had Steve Smith return every kickoff, he'd lead the league. He's that good, that quick. But he said he's such a small guy, I have to pace him. I worry about him getting injured. He said he's a phenomenal kickoff returner.
There is Smith in his spot to await the kick by Jason Wells. .22 seconds left. The Rampage have 2 timeouts. Kick by Wells. Sails under the slack net. I guess that's how it got. Got all the way out of the end zone. That's a good kick by Jason Wells. No return for Smith. So 22 seconds left, and we remind you that at halftime we'll be going to our AFL on NBC studios in New York with Al, Glenn, and Michael, set to give you all the scores and highlights on this final week of the regular season and all the latest in football news. That's coming up at halftime. We're 22 seconds away.
I'm curious about that Tampa Bay score. A lot right in that game, the Georgia-Tampa Bay game.
Well, then at halftime, don't sprint off like you usually do and stay and listen up.
Bring me the hot dog in, please.
Dalzell's pass complete to Shaw.
Should have gotten out of bounds there.
Did not. Jermaine Jones with a sure tackle.
He'll use one of their 3 timeouts. And with 15 seconds, as you see up here, plenty of time in this league. And as we've talked before, I think from this area of the field, much easier to score than when you get down inside the 10-yard line.
Now, they had already used 1 timeout, so that's the second they've used, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. Just went off the clock there now.
So each team with 1 timeout left. 15 seconds on the clock.
We want to go ahead and move into a situation where BG is going to knock one down. We got to get out of bounds, get about 10 yards, get out of bounds, and then go from there. We'll strike on our last. Well, we could strike here. Well, hell, we got bingo. We always got bingo. We can look it off.
Talking about really just getting 10 yards, using maybe 5-6 seconds, and then going to the end zone.
Hey, we're going to go trips, double post, wide choice, okay? Z, you got to stay. Get out of bounds. We got 1 left. Keep them out here now.
BG is Brian Goins that they were discussing, their kicker, so at the very least they want to give him a shot at a field goal.
And Y is who has a choice route is Terrell Shaw, their offensive specialist, number 15. So he's got a 2-way route. He's man right here.
Dalzell for Shaw. Oh, couldn't quite get it just off his fingertips, defended by Jones.
Shaw just takes 1 more step on the post route before he breaks out to the corner. He gives the quarterback just a little bit more room to make this throw. But Dalzell had the route he wanted. The Z choice, or the white choice, either in the post or the corner. The post was taken away. Indeed, he runs the corner. Had him open, but a pretty tough throw, and it would have been a tough catch for Shaw. I think he just had to give him a little bit more room on the sideline.
Now 10 seconds left as Dalzell reacts to that near strike.
Trade.
Marshall in motion. Dalzell has the ball ripped away. That's a free ball. Dallas chasing after it, and they cover it in the end zone for a touchdown.
Briggs caused the fumble, and Briggs recovered the fumble in the end zone.
Tom Briggs, the AFL sack leader, with a big play to knock the ball loose and recover it for a touchdown.
The 4th forced fumble by Tom Briggs this year. And I said you have to have a game plan when you play against Tom Briggs. Every team seems to. It's going to come from right down here. There he is, number 93.
Dalzell never saw him. He batted the ball away, and then a host of white jerseys. And Briggs is first to fall on it for the touchdown on the last play of the first half. Now the extra point.
I guess to block for it. But what a smart play by Tom Briggs, too, Tom. He knew he wasn't going to get the sack, but he could reach for the ball, kind of stripped, the tomahawk chop, stripped the ball, and then hustled to the end zone after he was on the ground to make the recovery. What a nice play. Man. Big.
Louis White.
Huge play on the final play of the half, and now Wells with the extra point to tie it. They actually put 2 seconds back on the clock, I see. Jason Wells with the extra point to tie the game. So the clock originally showed 0-0, but now they've put 2 seconds back.
Great job. 9.5 sacks on the year coming into today. Tom Briggs has been kind of quiet the last 5 games with only 1 sack. But right on the corner, he gets by Albert Reese. And then the right arm. Reese pushes him past the quarterback, which is the thing you're supposed to do, with the long arm of Briggs, and then the hustle play. So you got a real effort play all the way around.
Did you see how quickly Briggs got up to chase the football and then outran Burks, the wide receiver, to get to it?
He had to push Burks away. I caused the fumble. I'm going to score the TD.
cut his arm and everything else sliding on the turf. But he made a huge play just before halftime.
Well, as you said, 9.5 sacks in the year, 7 hurries, 4 forced fumbles. Now scored a touchdown as a defensive player, and offense, he's got 4 catches and a touchdown as well. And look, now he's going to come down and cover the kick. I think you have to be in shape 16 weeks, playing both ways, making plays like that. It's just incredible to me, the kind of shape these guys are in.
Tom, his 7th season from West Virginia.
Bad left elbow there, too.
So Smith will get a chance to return with 2 seconds remaining in the showdown for the Central Division title.
Breaks down here. They don't hide him. Very, very good cover guy. He's kicks too.
Wells off the net. Smith couldn't handle it. Loose ball picked up by Shaw. Now he's gets to out of the end zone. There's the penalty.
That one was pretty blatant.
Penalty on the play. It'll be a touchdown. Failure to bring the ball out of the end zone on the free kick, number 15. Half the distance from the 5-yard line, first down.
You know, it turns out to be a pretty smart play when you think about it, though, because the clock would have expired. Sure. Now they get at least 1 shot at a touchdown, right?
He had no chance to run it back, which he did. He was surrounded, so takes the penalty and get a play from scrimmage.
That's either good coaching or an incredibly heads-up play by Terrell Shaw. And very rarely do you see zone defenses in the Arena Football League. You're going to see one right now from Dallas. 3 guys back deep.
So barring a penalty, this will be the final play of the first half.
Yeah, just took a knee. You don't see that much in the AFL either.
No, you don't. So they'll go to the locker room on even terms in the Central Showdown as we go down to Lewis Johnson.
Tom can't even believe I've stopped to interview him. Hey, tell me about the batted ball and the recovery for the touchdown in the end zone.
We needed another score after Jim's interception in the end zone. So Coach Norris came up to me and said, try to make a play out there. Got a good, a lucky bounce in the end zone and was fortunate enough to recover it.
All right, Tom, listen, the Central Division title and a possible playoff game at home are on the line here. What do you all have to do in the second half?
We just got to be physical up front, keep getting pressure on Dozell. I think we're going to be all right.
All right, Tom, congratulations. Thank you so much. All right, Tom.
All right, Lewis. I think Tom is perpetually out of breath, all he's done in that first half. It's tie game at halftime. Let's take you now to Al Troutwig in our AFL on NBC studios in New York.
Time to showcase for what you got. Ball! Yeah! Triple championship, a home field game. It's time to get some right here.
We've got highlights. We've got logo issues. We've got dark horses to talk about. Welcome to the AFL at halftime here on NBC. Al Troutwig along with Michael Irvin and Glenn Parker, who have too much paper to possibly get through the highlights, but we'll try. We've got 3 close games going on right now as we watch games around the AFL. No surprise there, but Grand Rapids had the feel of a team that was spurred on by just being on NBC. They looked like they were going to control this game, but here as they sit in the locker room, there's nobody controlling anything just yet.
Well, Dallas has done a very good job playing that last minute. They were able to get some points back. Kubiak, he made a few mistakes early in, has come back. Grand Rapids, though, is playing like a team that's determined to show everybody out there they belong on NBC.
And, Michael, you're the Desperados expert. I always like the Desperados in the second half. Good thought?
Right. They do. They play well in the second half. Kubiak has to minimize his mistakes late in the game. He used to throwing a few interceptions late in the game, but he needs to cut that out if he's going to go far in the playoffs.
All right, we check out the highlights now. The Dallas Desperados and the Grand Rapids Rampage. Take it away, Michael.
And I finally get a chance to do the Desperados highlights. Glenn, he always does them. And look at this, what I get to show, talking about the Desperados. Clint Dozell hitting Terrell Shaw for a touchdown.
And I thought Parker was into wine.
Right, and you think Clint Dozell, you know, he's saying, I'm throwing the ball all over the place. This is a game on NBC. Let me call my own number. You see the offensive line, it opens up, split apart like the Red Sea as he walks in for the touchdown. And again, Dozell hitting Marshall all the way down for the touchdown. It had to be a mix-up in the secondary. Look at this dancing, man. Look at this dancing.
Oh, I'm sensing jealousy here, Glenn.
I am too. There's a lack of rhythm on Michael's part.
It is getting out of hand. Now, the only highlight I get to show of the Desperados is a Jim Kubiak interception to Shea Showers that really was not an interception, but they called it an interception.
That's all you have to say over that?
But it was a nice catch. It was a nice catch. It was a nice catch. But it really wasn't an interception. So it shouldn't have
He
even
used
been a play.
every appendage on his body to make that play.
And he also used the carpet, which is illegal.
Stop it. Winner of Grand Rapids, Dallas will clinch a home game. Let's go to Indiana and Chicago. Indiana loses, they're out. Indiana wins, and they still need help to get into the playoffs.
They take things up in the first quarter. Chicago's already down by 6, but Billy Dicken finds Cornelius Bonner here. Now, there's a fight for that ball. Hey, offense always gets the ball. That's the rule. That's the rule.
Why?
That's just the way it is.
Because offense sell tickets.
And that's
people
right.
understand.
Donnie Caldwell comes up, and now he's going to get a touchdown and a dance, a la Michael Irvin. Pick up things in the second quarter. Raymond Filia makes a great effort to get in, fumbles the ball out of bounds.
It wasn't a great effort. He fumbled it.
Chicago's ball. It still was a great effort, and I don't like to hear that from you, okay? We're going to pick up Billy Dicken, though. He's going to find Antonio Chapman. Now, there's a guy that really can play this game. Gets a touchdown at 16-13. Now, under a minute left, Lindsey Fleshman gets in. It's a 2-yard run that puts them up 23-13, but Indiana scores with 2 seconds left to bring it a little closer, 23-19.
Chicago clinches with a win, or if Las Vegas loses, Indiana needs a win and Las Vegas to win in order to make the playoffs. There you go. We've got one more game to talk about. Tampa and Georgia. This is all about seeding.
Well, and it's all about Leon Murray, a guy who had not played that well in his first 5 games, comes up big this first half. He finds himself AFL legend Darrell Hammond for the first score. You gotta love Leon Murray. Now,
Why?
you just do. John Kaleo here now. Boy, you are on me today. Now, I'm gonna show this because I love all the running. You know what? It doesn't count, and don't ask why, all right? It just doesn't count.
Why are we showing stuff that doesn't count?
It's good moves. We show you on camera all the time.
Ooh, that's a
there
shot.
you come. Now, I love Leon Murray. Makes 2 guys miss and throws the 49-yarder. You can't make a longer play than that. Finds Jarek Hillary for the score. We got a tie game at half, and it's a big one.
So Georgia has a home game if they beat Tampa Bay, but not if they lose. If Georgia loses, the loser of the Grand Rapids-Dallas game will clinch a home game. We've got 10 pages of scenarios. Maybe we should just all let it play out.
Just breathe.
Take a breath.
And Tampa needs that win to be the second seed. They mean to get every game except the Arena Bowl at home.
But as it is, they're one of the 4 seeds that sit out the first week. So of the teams that begin play next week, and we'll have playoff AFL on NBC Saturday and Sunday, who's your dark horse? Who makes some noise, and who do you think can make further noise as we look at
Let me think. Would it be Dallas? Let me think. He answers Dallas.
Dallas.
Oh, Karnak.
Dallas. No, but Dallas has a great team. And Dallas, like I said earlier, if Kubiak could just hold down on the mistakes late in the game, they can play with anybody.
If Dallas had a great team, they'd be better than 9-6.
You're correct.
But they split with the top teams this year. I think they were like 2-2, so I think they got a great shot.
I think Dallas is going to be one of those dark horses. I think. Look for Arizona. They've got too much veteran leadership, too many good players, and their offensive percentage of scoring is incredible. They're going to make some noise. And I also say look for Grand Rapids. They want to prove something.
No New York, huh?
Well, I like New York, but I knew that was your team, so I'd let you say it.
So you're from Arizona.
Yeah.
You like the Rattlers.
Right.
You're from Dallas. You pick Dallas.
Tell me this.
I'm from New York, and that's not good.
Does it seem like that I just really like Dallas a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we're objective.
I'm working
You're
on
not.
this for you folks.
All right, let's prove it one more way. Let's show you one of the hot new logos, a team that's scheduled to begin play, owned by Tom Benson, who owns the Saints, the New Orleans Voodoo. And that's their logo. And apparently the buzz on the internet is that this is one of the top logos all of a sudden.
That's
and, you don't see a skeleton with sunglasses on very often.
Unless you go to a Grateful Dead concert.
Oh, the Raiders, right?
You see them everywhere.
And your favorite logo in the league would be, Glenn?
I got to go with the Avengers for the logo, but the overall look, let's face it, the Arizona Rattlers have the #1 look in the league.
Don't ask me.
Dare we venture into the Lone Star State for your favorite logo?
It's the star. It's the star. You know, I happen to like the star. And the Desperados right there. You see, you got the little guy right in the middle of the star. I think it's a nice logo.
Wow.
You guys got to come on.
I like the desert that is your mind, Michael.
We'll be updating you in the second half. Thanks for joining us.
Tonight, the biggest events are on NBC. First, on an all-new Dateline, Martha Stewart interviews with her brother and former associate.
She can be abusive.
The inside story. Then, the season finale of American Dreams. A city explodes and a young girl is caught in the crossfire.
My daughter's up there.
Then, the 2-hour season finale of Law & Order: Criminal Intent. A deadly virus. Get everybody out of here. And the return of his greatest nemesis.
Is it everything you imagined?
Quality shows, NBC Tonight.
Chevy continues to drive the nation. With 0% APR financing for 60 months on every new 2003 Chevy car and truck except Corvette. That's 0% for 60 months or $3,000 cash back on every 2003 Chevy excluding Corvette. It's easy to make offers like these when you're in overdrive. 0 APR for 60 months. See your local Chevy dealer.
Both have the same megapixels. That one's smaller. Great for climbing.
Perfect. With Best Buy's huge selection of digital photography products, you're sure to find what's right for you. And if you purchase a digital camera or digital camcorder $279 and up by May 24th, you'll pay no interest for 24 months. Get into digital photography at Best Buy.
My plane has 2 supersonic hydrogen-powered engines. Well, my plane has leather seats. Oh, yeah? Well, my plane has a communication system that can hear transmissions from outer space. My plane has direct TV at every seat. TV? On the plane? At every seat.
JetBlue isn't the only way to fly, but it should be.
I'm gonna charge businessmen a gazillion bucks a ticket. What are you gonna call your airline? Loser?
Check out JetBlue.com for our lowest fares.
At GMC, being professional grade means you do things better. So we gave Sierra more horsepower than Ford F-150 or Dodge Ram. We gave it more standard towing capacity, too. Professional grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to. Get 0% APR for 60 months for qualified buyers on a new 2003 Sierra. Upgrade to professional grade. See the pros at your local GMC dealer.
The News 4 Storm Team working for you.
Halftime in Grand Rapids with Dallas and Grand Rapids tied at 28 in their battle for the Central Division Championship. Tie score will settle it all when we return to Grand Rapids after these messages.
The Arena Football League playoffs are here. There is no tomorrow. The Arena Football League playoffs. For tickets, call 1-866-AFL-TIXS.
That's the first time all year. Nobody called that. They had a guy here to tackle. He doesn't have to come out. Yes, he does, Coach. I'll show you on tape.
You don't run out of bounds and you don't catch a damn touchdown, and we don't get the yards we're supposed to get. And all of a sudden we're back here at 14-all because we don't play smart.
Well, the coaches are into it. We know that.
Hey, listen, no cafe lattes for either coach this second half. Not allowed. No coffee.
Tied at 28, the winner gets the Central Division Championship, and for all the offense we saw in that first half, a couple of big defensive plays proved to be the difference, including that one made just before halftime by Tom Briggs in Dallas.
Sensational player. Has been doing that most of this year, you know, sacking the quarterback, causing havoc, the 4 fumbles forced this year, but that was the biggest play, really, of the first half.
Grand Rapids, despite all their injuries, staying right with Dallas.
Yeah. Each of them had, well, Grand Rapids 5 possessions, 4 touchdowns, very efficient. And Dallas, 4 possessions, 3 touchdowns, plus the 1 defensive touchdowns. That's why we have a tie ball game. Well, one of the things, though, that Dallas did particularly well was protect Jim Kubiak. I mean, we've done a lot of Dallas games, and he generally gets hit a lot more and pressured a lot more than he has thus far today.
Well, a lot of it, too, is the function of the Grand Rapids injuries, especially to their defensive specialists.
Indeed. We haven't seen an onside kick yet today, Tom, and generally in the Arena League games, we see at least one. Some we've seen as many as 4.
So Grand Rapids kicking off to open the second half. And this is Burks. Picks it up on the hop. And Burks with one man, Goins to beat, and Goins gets him out of bounds. The kicker, again, is the man that
That's 2 tackles.
is able to save the touchdown.
2 tackles for Brian Goins.
Well, this year Denny's is putting together Denny's Great Uniform Giveaway. Log on to arenafootball.com to enter to win. The Denny's Great Uniform Giveaway gives local teams uniforms provided by Majestic Athletic. This week's winner, Jody Ashworth, an actor from Colonial Heights, Virginia, who won uniforms for his former high school soccer team, the Hopewell Blue Devils. Jody donating his winning uniforms to his old school.
You had a little trouble with that one this time, didn't you?
That's it. Burks, touchdown.
No trouble
Quick
there.
strike from Kubiak to Diallo Burks, 28 yards. Big return off the opening kickoff, and then Burks doing all the work. Gets the pass from Kubiak for the touchdown.
They're so understated, Tom. I mean, quick strike, 1 play, boom, touchdown. I mean, that is indeed a quick strike. Diallo Burks, you know, really look how he was supposed to get jammed at the line of scrimmage. Nobody even touched him. And there's a guy you better touch close to the line of scrimmage, otherwise he's going to score a lot of plays like that. Had a big year.
The Burks had the long touchdown return, and then the go-ahead score. Wells with the extra point, boots it through. Touchdown by Burks.
Yeah, and as a defensive back, if you don't get your hands on these guys in motion early, this is what's going to happen. They're going to run right by you for touches.
So Dallas sprints in front on the opening drive of the second half.
The first major advance for the fastest treatment of athlete's foot is Lamisil AT. Lamisil AT is the first non-prescription medicine proven to kill the fungus with just 1 week's use. Not even a prescription can beat that. Lotrimin AF and Tinactin still expect you to treat for 4 weeks. Who's going to do that? When your feet itch and burn, using Lamisil AT 1 week keeps you athlete's foot free 3 months. Lamisil AT. There's no better way to cure athlete's foot.
People everywhere are discovering a new way to protect their homes and families, all thanks to a new security system called SafeWatch EZ, only from ADT. Now you can arm your system with just the turn of a key. And with no codes to enter, SafeWatch EZ virtually eliminates accidentally setting off your alarm. Get SafeWatch EZ for as little as $99. Call 1-800-ADT-ASAP. ADT. Always there.
Hi there.
Yeah, I'd like a junior bacon cheeseburger with 2 full strips of bacon made fresh.
Define fresh.
Fresh ingredients.
Do you mean was fresh at one time?
No, I mean made fresh now.
We don't do that fresh.
At Wendy's, fresh means fresh. So our junior bacon cheeseburger is made right when you order it. It's the best 99 cents you can spend.
Your view of fresh? It's very narrow.
Really?
The 99-cent super value menu at Wendy's. It's better here. And our pickup window's open till midnight or later, so you can eat great even late.
The AFL on NBC is brought to you by Wendy's Super Value Menu, the best 99 cents you can spend. By Lamisil AT, there's no better way to cure athlete's foot. And by ADT, America's residential and commercial security leader. Call 1-800-ADT-ASAP. With our producer Jim Bell, director John Gonzalez, Pat Haden, Tom Hammond, Lewis Johnson, and Andel Arena, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Dallas and Grand Rapids meeting for the Central Division Championship. Jason Wells trying to find a secure spot there to put the ball down after Dallas has taken the lead. At one time they trailed 28-14. They've now scored 21 straight points to take their first lead of the game. Is set to receive the kick by Wells. Kind of a funny-looking kick off the net, right into the hands of Ricky Ross. And Ross, nearly sprinting free, does break a tackle. Ross, down to the 11-yard line. Another big kickoff return, this one by Grand Rapids, as Ricky Ross takes it 43 yards. Let's go down to Lewis.
Well, Michael Trigg will be happy to see that, Tom, but coming out of the locker room, you could just see the frustration bleeding from his eyes, and he only had this to say: his team is not playing with intelligence. Receivers, not getting out of bounds at the proper time, not playing denied defense on the goal line. Stupid penalties, his words now. Trigg told me that it's the story of the last 4 weeks, but maybe there's a spark here.
All right, so the big kickoff return worked for Dallas.
I hate when frustration bleeds out of your eyes. It's not a good thing. Tipped.
That ball is tipped and incomplete.
Guess whom?
Tom Briggs.
Good guess. This guy, he has that very, very quick first step. Michael Trigg earlier in the game was thinking maybe these guys are a little bit too far outside. You have to be lined up on the offensive lineman's shoulder. You have to catch a piece of that shoulder. When you get out that wide, you're going to make some sacks and some plays like the tip ball that he just made. We haven't really seen what Coach Triggs was saying yesterday. They're going to, sucker block him, which would mean they don't block him at all, and run the ball when he gets upfield that much, just try to run right by him. Perfect time to do it.
On second down, Shaw in motion. Dalzell completing the pass to Ross. Switching down inside the 5-yard line by Tim Denton and Shondell Tucker.
It'll be third down.
Going to bring up a third down for Grand Rapids.
I was just saying, if you're gonna run the ball past an up the field rusher like Tom Briggs, I mean, this is a good down. Briggs is thinking sack or fumble or making some sort of big play, and he gets upfield and you just hand the ball to the fullback and he went right past him.
Texas, hurry up!
Play clock is down to 3. Got it off. Dalzell's pass incomplete. Tried to thread the needle that time to Ross. It's going to bring up a 4th down. Tucker broke it up.
That was a really tight throw. Talk about those windows. Again, watch how tight this throw is. I mean, right there. And there's a lot of bodies around. Has to throw it in between Dallas defenders, and both Jones and Tucker, number 9, make very nice plays, defensive plays.
So 4th down for Grand Rapids. Dalzell's pass, flags are down, caught for a touchdown by Shaw. If it stands, it'll probably be interference, it would appear, against Dallas.
That's a heck of a route by Terrell Shaw, and the patience of Dalzell just to kind of hang in there. Same route that he ran for his first touchdown, kind of an in and an out. Some teams call it a smash route. In and then back to their
smash.
Clear hold, but what concentration, and Dalzell wanted to throw this ball a little bit earlier than that, but just kind of hung in there and waited, and he was rewarded.
And Goins with the extra point, so Dalzell responds on a 4th down touchdown pass. We're tied again at 35.
Here we go. Don't let anything stop you from satisfying your late-night hunger. Taco Bell is open late. Tonight, pick up a chicken quesadilla with grilled all-white meat chicken and 3 melted cheeses. You want to spice up the night? Think outside the bun. Open late.
It's the drive to Arena Bowl 17. The AFL playoffs start next Saturday at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on NBC.
We're back in Grand Rapids, tied at 35. 10-20 and counting in the 3rd quarter. And it will be Shondell Tucker deep for the Dallas Desperados. Short kick. Tucker takes it on the fly. And he's jammed up as he gets to about the 12-yard line. And Avery with a tackle on special teams for Grand Rapids. Well, we we've seen two big defensive plays in the game, and one of them made by Tom Briggs, who leads the league in sacks and has to be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. These are your candidates,
and
right?
right you are, Tommy. I would say right there. Tom Briggs, 9.5 sacks, the 7 pass deflections, 4 forced fumbles. Had another big game here. Cleveland Thomas, we saw a couple weeks ago, who was absolutely sensational. And Omar Smith of Tampa Bay, who's had a big year for the Storm.
Culver from Kubiak to the 19-yard line, short of the first down.
I haven't seen everybody this year, but those 3 guys are certainly at the top of my list.
Difficult to separate them, although Cleveland Thomas, it's sort of feast or famine with him. We've also seen him with that high-risk style he plays get burned a few times.
Dallas kind of took it to him, but boy, did he really respond a few weeks later. And he has 13 interceptions on the year. He's only played, he's missed 2 games. He's only played 14 games. It's been a remarkable year for him. Last year's Defensive Player of the Year.
Fumble the snap, Kubiak in a wrestling match. And it looks like he retains possession.
This is a thing that the Desperados and Jim Kubiak have had problems with the last few games. I think they've had like 10 turnovers.
Turnovers have been there.
The last 4 games. Yeah.
They just sort of bounced off his hand.
Well, again, we've talked about Doug Lytle, but ordinarily he's the starting center out of there, and it always takes some time to adjust to a new center.
So here's a 3rd down play for Dallas. 3rd down and 4 for the Desperados in a tie game. Kubiak with time, wide open, touchdown. It's Tucker with the touchdown catch.
Andel Tucker, number 9. A new addition to the Dallas Desperados this year. Played for Detroit a year ago, and Joe Alessandro said to us yesterday, hey, we had to get this guy in our team. Last year, he had 13 catches in 1 game against us. And he was part of that Andy Kelly trade. Remember when Dallas decided to trade Andy Kelly to Detroit? And part of that was Andel Tucker coming back. Again, good protection. Butler there. And the defender just got caught up, fell down right there. And that's, even if he had been defended, I think that's a pretty good throw.
33-yard score. Jason Wells, the extra point is good.
It's hold, too, by Jim Kubiak. See that?
Well, they convert a 3rd down play. Tucker's first touchdown reception, the former Hawaii player.
As the market's changed, I found that it's been more important to me to get the advice of someone like the people that I deal with at Schwab.
The private client consultant, she listens, she calls and says, how are you feeling about this?
Before Charles Schwab advises me to make an investment, they ask me what I would like.
They're there with sound investment advice when I need it.
Schwab Private Client, a different kind of relationship. For objective advice based on your needs, call 1-800-4-SCHWAB.
Somewhere between Wyoming and Nebraska, there was nothing. Somewhere between 65 and 70, a law was broken. Somewhere between stop it and you're grounded, a mom pulled over. And somewhere between where you are and where you're going, there's a Super 8. See you along the way.
Funny side, turning the Preakness into a runaway. It is Funny side, and he's heading home. He's won the Preakness by almost 10 lengths. Back to Belmont for a date with Triple Crown Destiny.
Funny side looks to become the first horse in a quarter-century to win the Visa Triple Crown. The Belmont Stakes, June 7th on NBC.
Should be a wild scene at Belmont Park June 7th as a New York bred for the first time goes for the Triple Crown. Hope you'll join us for the Belmont Stakes. Here on the last week of the regular season in the AFL, Dallas and Grand Rapids are playing for the Central Division Championship, and Dallas has just regained the lead. The Kickoff by Jason Wells to Ricky Ross.
Another good kick.
On the slack net. Ross stands on his way to the 5-yard line. And Clint Dozell will take the field. Dozell said that he was the youngest of 3 boys, but the best athlete in his family was his mom, Judy. Judy and Johnny are in the stands with Lewis Johnson.
They sure are, and they're sort of on pins and needles, Tom, with this game and the way it's going. And let me ask you first, Judy, you know, you've watched your son grow up. When did you know that Clint had a talent with football and he'd be able to do something with it?
Well, probably when he started playing in the 7th grade. He didn't seem to have a lot of confidence then, but it has come along in the past several years when he's gotten to play a lot. So he's got the ability. He's accurate.
He's known for his confidence. Dad, let me ask you. Steve Son, who was the offensive coordinator for Dallas, said that he is the most competitive athlete he's ever been around. Where did he get that from? Is that from you?
Well, from both of us. We were both athletes. And of course, his brothers were all athletes, and they were real competitive growing up with each other. And
speaking of competition, I heard there was a little competition yesterday out for some fishing. So how many bass were caught, and who caught the most?
well, Clint said we caught about 75. I think I caught one more than he did.
That explains it. Yeah. It comes from the parents, guys. All right, so.
Okay, Lewis, how many can you catch, Pat? Is it...
Catch and release, I guess. Catch. You know, Judy talked about being a great athlete. Clint was talking yesterday. She actually once bowled 300. She's played college basketball and softball, so indeed quite an athlete.
Well, Jermaine Jones wouldn't release Ricky Ross that time. And,
I knew you were going to get to
has him at the 15-yard line. But it is a Grand Rapids first down as Judy and Johnny's son, Clint.
Well, you can tell they're all from Texas. But Clint was saying, hey, Grand Rapids is such a great place to raise a family. He has two young children. Said there's a church and a bank on every corner in Grand Rapids.
Steve Smith catches it at about the 10-yard line, and Jermaine Jones again is first to hit him.
Steve Smith, I was reading a press guide about Steve Smith, and he said his greatest fear is quicksand. Now, I've been in Grand Rapids now for 2.5 days. I've yet to come across any quicksand. You encountered any this morning?
It sort of felt like it when I woke up, but might have just been the lateness of the arrival time.
Well, it's a nice horse race you had last week, and you're going to have another good one coming up.
That's some exciting scene. Dozell to Shaw. Squirts his way down to about the 2-yard line, where it'll be first and goal for the Rampage. Gallibert saved the touchdown with a tackle.
One of the things I like about Terrell Shaw is that he's not afraid, to go over the middle, try to break some tackles. A lot of these offensive specialists are small, itty-bitty guys that make a lot of the long, easy throws, but don't make the tough catches. Now, Terrell Shaw makes all those tough catches, and a bunch of them today.
100-yard receiving day for Terrell, and Dozell is 4 for 4 on this drive, and 5 in a row overall. And that one back away. Some good defense by Jermaine Jones.
Jones on the coverage, incomplete pass.
Gotta like little Jermaine Jones. He plays with a big heart. And I remember that he told us that he was a good basketball player, a walk-on basketball player. I said, well, at 5'9", you had to play point guard. He said, yeah, but said, I got a lot of rebounds. He said, I was one of the leading rebounders. Said, people always think I can't jump, including receivers.
Well, we've seen him make a lot of leaping plays, knocking balls away from the receivers the last 5 weeks of the season.
Come here. Stop. Stop. Get back. Stop.
Well,
God dang it.
Clint Dozell directing a little traffic there, is saying stop to his motion man. He would have had 2 men in motion at the same time, then wanted him to reset, and then the play clock was too far gone. He had to spend the timeout. Tempers flaring a bit too amongst the Rampage, trying to catch Dallas.
Androids. Any sign of body heat will give him away. A heating duct. Your body heat triggers it. Re-engineered degree for men. An extra kick of protection. Droid. Every time you need it. New degree for men kicks in the clutch.
the unexpected can be planned for. Tires with proven stopping power. On the wings of Goodyear.
Grand Rapids forced to spend its first time out of the second half to avoid a penalty. It remains 2nd and goal for the Rampage with 3 minutes and 18 seconds left in the third quarter. They trail Dallas. Here's the pitch on the sweep. Stopped short of the goal line. They tried to run it in. Again, playing the run tough.
He seemed to play the pass particularly well. That time, Jermaine Jones, all 5'9", 186 pounds of him, makes a nice stop.
Of course, Ross isn't that big, much bigger.
Indeed, but he's got some big bodies in front of him. Had to fight through the freeway traffic there.
So now 3rd and goal. The ball just at the 1-yard line, perhaps just inside it.
You know, in the first game, the Rampage really ran the ball very well against Dallas. They haven't had nearly as much success today.
Ross, did he get in? Very close.
That didn't count.
That might. It's going to be ruled short, though. It'll be 4th and goal.
In game 1, Chris Avery, the starting fullback, had a run of 40 yards and another 25 yards.
Inches from the goal line.
He has not carried the ball yet today, I believe.
In fact, there's been McDonald in there, mostly a fullback, Travis McDonald. So inches away from the goal line, 4th and inches. Grand Rapids trailing 42-35.
Handed
off to McDonald for the touchdown.
Well, that's a nice little play. Marky McEwen, the offensive coordinator, he called on that. That was a really nice little cross-buck fake, you know. They faked it to Ricky Ross, who had run it earlier, and they give it to McDonald, the big fullback. Still wasn't necessarily a freebie. Had to break the tackle of Butler, number 44.
And the ball almost didn't get in there. Did you see the handoff from Dalzell to McDonald was sort of in danger of coming free. It's actually the 3rd rushing touchdown by the Rampage today. Goins extra point. Nice to score again. A minute 12 left in the third quarter. Now tied at 42.
There's Judy and Johnny. Well, Johnny wasn't quite so sure about the call, was it? Judy was much quicker to the take on that one.
Dalzell ran one in himself. 3rd rushing touchdown. One by Dalzell, one by Ross, and now McDonald.
Yeah. Talking yesterday to Michael Trigg about Clint Dalzell and said, hey, how'd you uncover him? He said it was really kind of an accident.
Playing real soft now.
Dalzell was having a bachelor's party
playing way off
at a country western place in Waco, Texas. He said, I happened just to be there by accident, bumped into him. He said, he thought he was playing with an NFL team. Clint said, no, I'm unattached. He said, hey, why don't you come play with me? It's some exhibition games. He was coaching at Milwaukee at the time, and he just said, well, you know, I'm getting married, and if I can convince my wife to cancel our honeymoon to Paris, I can do that. And he did. He talked his wife, the great lady that she is, not going to Paris.
Now that is dedication. On the wife's part, I'm talking about.
Yeah. So instead of Paris, she got to go to Milwaukee and watch her fiance try to make an AFL team, which he ultimately did. And it's been a great 8-year career for Clint Dalzell,
including an AFL championship, and in fact has the AFL record for a single game, 479 yards passing. He set it in 1999, and as you said earlier, the 4th quarterback over 400 touchdown passes, and the first with 70-plus touchdowns in 5 different seasons. Separate them. Well, talking about offense, your offensive players of the year candidate.
Again, these are my thoughts. Right. You may disagree, Tom, anytime you like. We have 2 great quarterbacks today, but Jay Gruden, without him, the Orlando Predators went 2-4. Look at the touchdown-interception ratio. It's been phenomenal. Tony Graziani in Los Angeles, I mean, what a turnaround last 2 years. He's led that charge. 100 touchdowns this year for Aaron Garcia again. Over 100 touchdowns, the second time he's done that. Just three incredible players, and you're getting my broadcast partner of the year. And you get the Stretch Hugo
How many
as an award.
How many other partners have you had?
Well, this year none. You're my favorite.
Kubiak under pressure, let it go, and wide open Leverson gets up and scoots inside the 15-yard line. Caught from behind then on what could be the final play of the third quarter. Hodge saved the touchdown with a tackle of Luke Leverson.
Travis McDonald was draped, and I mean draped, all over Jim Kubiak.
And that will bring the third quarter to a close. Kubiak delivers as he is hit by McDonald. And we end the third quarter with the Central Division title at stake, tied at 42. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
This summer, everyone's dancing on boats for NBC's new summer season. With all new episodes of Meet My Folks, Crime and Punishment, and Dog Eat Dog with Brooke Burns.
Brad, are you thinking about Brooke Burns?
Sorry, dear. Plus 7 brand new summer series, like Fame, For Love or Money, and Last Comic Standing. Over 150 hours of original shows.
Is it the new programming, or are you just happy to see me?
NBC's new summer season begins next Tuesday.
Route 1 at the Beltway, already one of the area's most congested intersections. So what happens when more cars start flooding into the brand new IKEA Superstore next month?
Learn what's being done to prevent a traffic nightmare. Monday on News 4 at 5.
Chevy continues to drive the nation. Get 0% APR for 60 months for qualified buyers on every new 2003 Chevy Cavalier. Or current and retired military personnel can get an additional $750 military bonus cash on top of current offers for a total of $4,250 on every 2003 Chevy Cavalier. It's easy to make offers like these when you're in overdrive. See your local Chevy dealer today.
At GMC, being professional grade means you do things better. So we gave Sierra more horsepower than Ford F-150 or Dodge Ram. We gave it more standard towing capacity, too. Professional grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to. Get 0% APR for 60 months for qualified buyers on a new 2003 Sierra. Upgrade to professional grade. See the pros at your local GMC dealer.
Okay, you think your dog's really smart, but now there's a way you can prove it. It's an IQ test designed for dogs. No bones about it. You've got to see it to believe it. The K9 IQ test, Monday on News 4 at 5. Traffic and weather on the ones. Weekday mornings on News 4 Today. This copyrighted telecast of the Arena Football League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written permission of the AFL and NBC.
Nice combo. And I read in this morning.
Hey, guys. You know, I've been to a lot of sporting events, and you see teams with mascots and cheerleaders, but I have never seen a team with its own donut. But the local Krispy Kreme here makes the Rampage donut every time these guys have a home game. That's unbelievable.
Beer and donuts. Believe it or not, it's National Safe Boating Week, too, Tom.
Kubiak completes the pass, but not much yardage as Showers made a good defensive play. We'll take you to Al Troutwig now for an update. Al?
All right, Tom, we're still getting over beer and cherry-coated donuts. But anyway, Antonio Chapman, one of the best in the league at doing this.
If not the best. The guy can just make people miss. I tell you, he's a future punt returner maybe in the NFL. This guy has got a lot of talent. He's doing a lot of things. There are shot in the beer towns, and then there are donut in the beer towns.
All right, we did have some doctors also call us, Tom. They said that satisfied every taste bud.
Indeed. Indeed.
Flag down, a flag on Al for that comment.
It's not really on the popular Atkins diet either. It's the donuts and beer.
Prior to the snap, false offense, number 92, 5 yards from the previous spot, still second down.
False start on Shante Carver.
Yeah, Shante Carver back for the playoff run. Missed about 4 weeks. But he had a knee injury. Former #1 draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys. #1 great player at Arizona State, where he was an All-American there. Great pass rusher there.
Meanwhile, Jim Kubiak has hit 15 of his last 17 passes, including his last 6 in a row. And 3 of his last 5 went for touchdowns.
I think his 14th pass was my favorite today.
Here's one you'll like. Oh, incomplete. Deflected by Marshall, Willis Marshall, with the good defensive play on the Kubiak heave.
Yeah, Willis Marshall playing that two-way position, which I've really come to appreciate in this league. He plays wide receiver on offense, and then he has to flip it over and play corner. Most of the guys are more skilled wide receivers, so when he makes a defensive play, your coach really has to be happy.
3rd and long for the Desperados. Marshall doing it offensively and defensively for the Rampage.
Crowd's gotten into it.
Kubiak, lost for the end zone, wide open touchdown to Culver.
That is a crowd stopper.
Yeah. He was absolutely wide open. Shannon Culver's 3rd touchdown catch of the game.
You know, Tommy, they've run a couple of those option routes, which we've heard them call, and he has the option in the post or the corner. He kind of stumbled there. Every time today, he's run what has essentially been a corner route, and every time he's been wide open.
After he stumbled, it was like the parting of the Red and Black Sea here as he just finds himself wide open. 8 catches, 3 touchdowns.
I'd throw it to him more often. Pretty good odds.
Extra point is no good, but flags are down. This could be big. Wells missing the extra point, but 2 penalty markers on the play.
Well, we talked to Joe about going for 2-point plays yesterday.
Offside, defense, half the distance to the goal, repeat the down, repeat the try.
Well, he's just going to stay with the 1.
So Dallas catches a break there. The offside on Grand Rapids means that the extra point will be tried again. Wells had missed it, and the way these two teams have been trading scores, that extra point could have loomed large, but instead, Wells will get another shot at it. High snap over the head of Kubiak. This is 2 points if the Grand Rapids Rampage can get it in the end zone. They can't, as Wells alertly falls on the ball with Chris Avery bearing down on him, but still it is a miss. A tight game, no more than 7 points has separated the two all game long.
And where is Doug Lytle? He's back in Dallas. Again, new snapper. Butler, number 44, right over the head of Kubiak. Wells is a smart thing to get on top of it. We talked to Wells yesterday about, his new snapper. He had some real concern about it.
Oh, go! Go, go, go! Go, go, go! Get him!
But Wells falls on it to prevent further damage, but a missed extra point could be big. The margin is 6.
Well, we had an amazing road trip. It was incredible. There's nothing better than getting the guys together and hanging out for the weekend. We got a little lost on the way. Eric had the map.
Once again, you're pointing here, he's pointing over there. 247? 247! Thank you!
Yeah, we mountain biked, did a little rock climbing. We met some friends out there, some girls. Somebody came in acting like an idiot. It could have been done at a different time, but I got back at him. You can't beat a road trip like that, and I'd go again, any day.
The new Honda Element. Go with it.
Hey, Frank, you got everything out of the stadium, right?
Yeah.
Everything out of the stadium, huh?
The Brute waste container by Rubbermaid. Built to survive just about anything. The Brute tote by Rubbermaid. Built to survive just about anything.
steel is no match for smart rubber. Tires with run-flat technology on the wings of Goodyear.
The AFL on NBC is brought to you by Goodyear, reminding you to take all your journeys on the wings of Goodyear. By Rubbermaid, how life gets organized. And by Craftsman. Craftsman makes anything possible. Available at Sears. Sears, where else? Well, Dallas got 2 tries at an extra point. A missed one by Wells, a bad snap by Butler over the head of Kubiak. So it's a 6-point Dallas lead, 48-42.
You know, some things you just kind of take for granted, and snaps on extra points is one of them. But in this league, they can really, really hurt you.
Ross fields the Wells kickoff. Got away from him. Trying to get out of the end zone.
Well, that was a real effort.
And it's tackled in the end zone. That's
give an Oscar.
A touchback.
Give him an Oscar.
And they'll get it out to the 5-yard line. And coming up next Sunday, 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific on NBC. It's the Nike Prefontaine Classic, featuring some of the world's best track and field athletes, including the world's fastest man, Tim Montgomery, plus Gail Devers, the Australian national hero, Kathy Freeman. Remember when she lit the flame in Sydney and then won the 400 meters, one of the great moments. The Nike Prefontaine Classic next Sunday, 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, here on NBC. Lewis will be there. Dalzell's pass tipped.
Yeah.
Flag is down.
Yeah.
That flag probably going to be picked up because the ball was tipped.
Indeed. Very perceptive, Tom. No pass interference for the ball's tipped. You were getting ready for the playoffs, I can tell. You're going to be ready in that first round next week.
Funny side inspired me yesterday. I'm trying
to illegal
get 10
defense
lengths ahead of you.
And drifting, number 92. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
But of course we were wrong, or I was wrong.
Yeah, now see. Told you were wrong.
So a little drifting will cost them 5.
Yeah. This is what see how wide these defensive are. You have to be lined up on the shoulder, catch a piece of those offensive linemen. Otherwise, it's an illegal defense. Tom Briggs is way outside. And earlier in the game, Michael Trigg was complaining about that, and rightfully so.
I think we give that call to Trigg. He alerted the officials. They said, yes, we'll watch it. They just called it.
Oh, my.
Delayed pass to the tight end, Simpkins. And Simpkins wrestled down at about the midfield stripe. That's Ricky Simpkins, his 3rd catch of the season.
They have some big men on this Rampage team, but none bigger than number 75, Eric Golston. He's playing center. You see him right there, 75, and he looks big in any kind of uniform that he wears. It's one of those.
I thought it was a tent.
It might have been. 6'4", 330 pounds, 6-year out of Ohio State. He told me yesterday that he was 330 in high school. Just has not been able to put on much weight since high school.
Can you imagine the fear of lining up
man.
across from a guy at 330 in high school? Flag is down. Ross receives the Dalzell pass. Jermaine Jones tackled him.
You know, Golston is actually a little bit out of the norm in the Arena Football League. Most of the linemen are really defensive linemen in college, but at Ohio State, Golston was a center.
No penalty for illegal defense. The quarterback did a pump fake. 2nd down.
So he was a center.
He was an all Big Ten center.
Yeah, indeed, at Ohio State, and he kind of learned how to rush the passer, kind of a bull rusher. Also, he says he likes to tweak with electronic gadgets, kind of fixes all sorts of things around the house. A little bit like you, Tom, I know.
Very handy.
I am the least handy guy I know. And I know a lot of guys who aren't very handy. Golston right down here.
Dalzell deflected and a flag down. That was McCullough that deflected it for Dallas. Another penalty marker.
Well, a lot of penalties today. Holding against the Rampage. It certainly wasn't on Eric Golston because he didn't have to block anybody.
Holding, offense, number 95, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat the down, 2nd down.
That was Simpkins. We said he had good hands. He made that catch a little too good, apparently.
Yeah, right down here. Oh, nice tackle, yeah. You know, you got to remember when you're on offense and when you're on defense, because they play both ways. I think he forgot. Thought he was on defense. Good tackle.
It means that the Rampage.
It's a good name for a football team, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
We'll have a 2nd and long.
Well, here comes the rush. Oh.
That one, the 2 Dallas players breaking on it probably prevented the interception. Denton looked like he could have intercepted it, and so did Jermaine Jones.
And Tom Briggs almost knocked the ball out of the hand of Clint Dalzell again. Just missed around the corner. Yeah, watch him over here. Just missed. So it was really the same kind of play. He caused the fumble and scored on the touchdown.
Meanwhile, Denton and Jones looked like he had dead aim on it, and then Denton broke in front, couldn't hold on. So it's 3rd down. 3rd and long. Dalzell's pass broken up by Jones. Jermaine Jones, another big defensive play.
Another rebound for Jermaine.
Knocked it away from Shaw. Jermaine's having an excellent afternoon.
Tackling, defending. 3 balls knocked away from receivers. Big stuff put down by the goal line.
So 4th down now for Grand Rapids. They're going to attempt a long field goal. Remember, it's just a 6-point margin.
You know what we haven't seen this year, you and I have not seen, is a returned missed field goal for a touchdown.
Probably should have went to 15, so he could have come back.
It happens with some regularity in this league.
Brian Goins, 36-yard attempt is good. Goins drills it from 36 yards to pull the Rampage within a field goal.
He is one good kicker.
So with 8:06 left, it's a 3-point Dallas lead.
Hey guys, meet the new guy.
Hi, I'm Bob Holtkamp.
Hey, help yourself to some snacks. Speaking of which, you know what would taste good about now?
Yeah, a big, hot and juicy cheeseburger.
With everything.
I can almost taste it.
Telling me, if there are places to get a hamburger that good this late, I'd not only drive, I'd buy.
Really?
Wendy's classic hamburgers are made fresh, so they're always hot and juicy, so you can eat great even late.
You must be the new guy.
Yeah, thanks.
Wendy's, it's better here.
The passage is intense, but if you complete the journey, you will find your destiny among the world's greatest warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Rattle, avenge, crush, and storm to arenafootball.com. Click on Arena Store for your very own official AFL football and full-size replica helmet, too. Sport the official AFL cap your favorite players and coaches wear, and take your pick of great AFL collectibles. Officially licensed AFL stuff. If you don't get it at the arena, you can only get it at arenafootball.com.
.45 after Brian Goins of Grand Rapids hit officially a 47-yard field goal. So the long field goal makes it a 3-point game. And the kickoff on the fly did not hit the net. But not much on the return for Tucker. And let's take a look now at our ADT defensive plays of the game.
Well, we're going to have to add an S to play because there's 2 of them. This one was by Tom Briggs. A sensational play right before the end of the first half. Forced fumble, hustles in, pushes his teammates away. But we had to give this a split vote. Hanging chads and all that sort of thing. And that was Shea Showers. The interception. Feet, knees, legs, socks, everything involved in the interception.
Our ADT defensive plays of the game. Dallas now leading by 3. Kubiak on target. And short of the first down to Tucker.
When you say on target, I mean, you are right. 69% completion percentage guy is Jim Kubiak. I mean, both these guys really, really high percentage completions. Dalzell at 67%, but very, very accurate. That's why you see a lot of his receivers able to run after the catch, get in the end zone after the catch, because they're not having to adjust to the football.
Patty's missed only 7 today in 30 attempts. Second down play, just lofted complete. And right to midfield to Scott, Patrick Scott. And Ricky Ross.
It's actually Tim Martin, I think.
96,
yeah,
not 95.
Right, my favorite Martin.
Tim Martin, that's actually his 5th reception of the season from Tulsa.
Talked to him yesterday, and he really excited. Just passed his Series 7 exam, so he's going to be a registered stockbroker now. I said
Give you any tips?
No, I asked for some. He refused to give them to me. But he grew up in a very, very small town outside Tulsa, and I'll tell you how small it was in just a moment.
Had you offered a little commission, he might have been able to give you a...
You know I'm not into that. No commissions.
Tucker with a reception to the 15-yard line, where he's wrestled down by Willis Marshall.
So I said to Tim yesterday, how small a town did you grow up in outside Tulsa, Oklahoma? He said, Pat, we didn't even have an address until I was 16. And then he said, well, I said, well, what was your address? So when it was 16, my address became Rural Route 9, Box 448. So if you needed to get a hold of Tim, that's where you sent it.
Oh, great.
Rural Route 9, Box 448. Great year he's had, though.
He has had a great year. And he's helping the Desperados march down the field here. Second down and short.
Oh, man, what a...
Kubiak had his foot stepped on as he backpedaled, but managed to recover and get it to Tucker. He has a first down before Showers wrestles into the turf, took the ball away, but...
What a rush by...
It'll be a completion.
Excuse me, Tom. Madison Johnson, number 50 for the Rampage. Man, he just got an incredible quick jump and just bull rushed right through the center. Watch right here. Watch this. Yeah, you know, part of a center, part of the fullback, still got in Kubiak's way.
It's going to be first and goal for Dallas. They're down at the 8-yard line. Dallas leading 48-45 as time ticking down to the 4.5-minute mark.
Madison lost his neck there. See that?
Kubiak completes it to Burks, tries to put a move on.
Whoops.
And is rammed into the boards by Lamar Grant with a late flag down as Kubiak hit the turf.
That's one of those, we talked just a moment ago about the accurate throw by Jim Kubiak where Burks didn't have to adjust, personal foul against Dallas. But, you know, the receiver didn't have to adjust at all, caught it and could run right after the catch. Receivers appreciate that.
Personal foul. Illegal helmet contact, number 95, defense. Correction, offense. 10 yards previous stop, repeat the down, first down.
Illegal helmet contract, Patrick Scott. He's the one that had his helmet repaired earlier. Remember, you saw all those nicks on it?
Yeah, indeed. Patrick Scott is a very large man, 6'5", 273 pounds. You know, plays that fullback, more of a linebacker. That's, you know, he stands next to some pretty, you know, big guys in the huddle, and he's clearly taller and bigger than they are.
He also played basketball in his college days at South Carolina State. Burks in motion, first and goal. Kubiak's pass. Was it deflected? It was either that or too low, intended for Burks.
I think it was tipped away on an excellent defensive play by number 5, Lamar Grant. Former Desperado. It's a choice route again, one of those option routes, in or out for Burks. He is what they call their wing back. And I guess it wasn't tipped, just really off the hands of Diallo Burks. And that's where you see those sideboards really kind of come into play as receivers. The outdoor game, you catch edge, you step out of bounds, no big deal. But in the Arena League, you have to worry about the collisions with the sideboards.
Kubiak again double clutched on the snap, but was able to complete the pass.
It looked like WWF. Now that takedown right there by
Marshall, yeah. Kubiak, you see, he had to sort
Hey,
still
no,
able to...
look for Andy. An 8-yard post. Come on now. Straight right. Yo-yo. 50 flat.
You see, raise right, yo-yo. 50 flat. On two, ready? The offensive specialist, Culver, is right back in the fourth post. That's yo-yo. But he's looking for some slants down here.
Kubiak's pass, drilled, complete for the touchdown to McCullough. Andy McCullough with the touchdown catch from Jim Kubiak.
These big Dallas receivers, like those Orlando receivers, I mean, they give a quarterback such an advantage. That ball was maybe a little bit behind McCullough, but he kind of turned his back like a rebounder would and caused a little bit of separation. And you saw Steve Tunn saying, hey, I want that 8-yard post. He got it.
He beat Grant for the score. 5th catch of the game for the former Tennessee Vol, his first touchdown. Extra point this time by Jason Wells. It's good.
Good, crisp route. Steve Tunn ordered it up, and Andy McCullough delivered.
And it's a 10-point Dallas lead.
Whether it's your dream yard or your first yard, if you do it yourself or have someone else do it. More people buy mowers and tractors from Sears than anywhere else in America. We sell Craftsman, America's #1 mower and tractor brand. And from our wide selection, we'll find what's right for you. The right brands, selection, service. Right now, get 0% financing on all tractors until November 2003. Sears. Good life, great price.
What brings you to the Rhode Island Culinary Institute?
That's a good question.
What brings you to southern New Mexico State?
You travel many miles. Why Gestalt School of Art?
What made you decide to make the trip all the way to Memphis Polytech?
$139 a week for any mid-sized budget. For irresistible prices on irresistible cars, call 1-800-BUDGET-7 or visit budget.com.
Sauce is thicker than water. Gather up the family for Denny's Barbecue Days. Taste our hickory smoked St. Louis-style ribs covered in rich barbecue sauce. Or for $6.99, try our tangy barbecue chicken deluxe, one of 4 great new meals. Check out Denny's Barbecue Days. You can't help but smile. Denny's, a good place to sit and eat.
NBC Wednesday. Celebrate Law & Order's 300th episode with a 2-hour season finale. It doesn't get any more ripped from the headlines than this. A woman drives over her husband.
Get out of the car!
And a celebrity holds his baby out the window and drops him.
There's a TV movie in this. I can smell it.
The 2-hour Law & Order finale, NBC Wednesday.
Fourth quarter in Grand Rapids. The Rampage set to receive the kickoff, trailing by 10. Grand Rapids trying to break a 4-game losing streak and win the Central Division title with a victory over Dallas today, but down 10. Just over a minute 30 remaining. Steve Smith off the net. Smith, the speedster, breaks to the outside. Cuts back. Smith still on his feet. Angling down to the 12-yard line.
He is quick.
Big return by Steve Smith as we send you to Al Troutwig in New York for an update.
Tom, that was pretty exciting, but so was this. The route run by Freddie Solomon.
I mean, this is the route that you will use on your cut-up reel to teach your young kids. Did you see that post? He sold it with his head, his body, everything back to the corner for a nice touchdown by Freddie Solomon.
Tampa looking to gain the #2 seeding. They would with a win. 51 seconds to go. Tom, back to you.
All right, Al, here we have just 1 minute left. We're at the 1-minute warning after that 43-yard kickoff return by Steve Smith.
Well, Michael Trigg said this guy could be the best kickoff returner in the league if we gave him more chances. You understand why. The quickest player I've ever seen, Coach Trigg said. Quick enough there.
I
I will not be afraid of the dark.
I will not feel guilty leaving my dog alone.
I will know my children are safe.
I will finally be able to relax!
At ADT, we help more people feel safe in more ways than any other security company. A single ADT system can help protect your home and family from burglary, fire, and carbon monoxide for as little as $99. Plus, save up to 20% off your homeowner's insurance. Call 1-800-ADT-ASAP.
Going a full 12 rounds is all about stamina. That's why I like high endurance from Old Spice. No deodorant protects better. And it lasts longer because it evaporates more slowly. Want proof? If you're not convinced, Old Spice will buy you a stick of your old stuff. Let me put it this way. High endurance lasts longer than I do. But I'm working on that.
And start your day with new body wash and body spray from Old Spice. Spice things up.
Well, we went out searching for some waves. It was pretty mellow, actually.
Man, chill out. I'm trying to eat.
The car ride out was good, except Luke kept taking his shoes off. Luke!
Oh!
We found this secret little surf spot. When we got there, the beach was totally empty. After a whole day of surfing, we just wanted to crash out.
The new Honda Element. Go with it.
Defending champion Tiger Woods, the most powerful force in golf. With one more victory in a major championship, he'll move into third place on the all-time list and be halfway to Jack Nicklaus's record. Will he add to his legend? Golf's greatest championship, the U.S. Open, starting Thursday, June 12th on NBC.
We return to Grand Rapids with 1 minute left in the game. The winner of this takes the Central Division title and is guaranteed a home game next week in the wild card playoff round. Final game of the regular season, and this will decide the Central Division Championship. Dallas with a 10-point lead with 1 minute remaining. Grand Rapids driving at the Dallas 12-yard line. They have 2 timeouts left. There's the standings coming into today. Grand Rapids with a victory would win the tiebreaker and take the title. Rozell's pass is incomplete. Denton defending Hodge. It'll bring up with 57 seconds left, a second down play.
Tim Denton just jumped on that slant route. And it looked like he listened to the call. Denton and Jones have played particularly well in the Dallas secondary today.
Second down.
No, what?
Dalzell short of his intended receiver, Smith.
Leverson
defending, and shoe came off. That was Grant that lost the shoe.
Didn't happen yesterday in the previous, did it?
Oh, no, it was lost.
Trips right, wild back, 50 double post, wide post corner, Z jab. Ready? Come right now, Hodge.
There's a lot of that one.
Clint has missed his last 4 passes.
50s to 5-step drop. And I think he's going to want this kind of post corner.
Hit as he let it go and incomplete. It'll bring up 4th down.
Well, you need 10 points, right? So
kick a field goal.
Kick a field goal here, and they've got a terrific kicker in Brian Goins. I think he's been perfect tonight.
He's not missed. Has all the extra points and a field goal.
And again, just to remind fans who are new to the AFL, these are tough kicks because the uprights are only 9 feet apart.
Here. This one, 27 yards. 27 yards to pull the Rampage within a touchdown. Bad snap.
Blocked again.
And blocked.
And I think it was 96, Tim Martin.
And the touchback.
If he did, that's the 3rd blocked kick by Tim Martin. You know, we were talking to Joe Avizano yesterday about they seem to put more pressure on kickers and block more kicks than anybody in the league. And he has 3 himself, does Tim Martin. One we saw, remember, a few weeks ago, he blocked it, then he picked it up and ran for a 2-point play. It was on an extra point.
The snap was a little wide.
Yeah, we've seen some poor snaps today. And that's a really big block. The division crown on the line. Joe Avizano, the former special teams coach extraordinaire, the Dallas Cowboys, appreciates that.
So the offensive team in front has to advance the ball, but they'll try to kill as much of the 42 seconds as they can. And they'll do it with a running play.
Chris Sager with the tackle. Jeremy Butler, the ball carrier.
Butler was the man that toted the ball, and the Rampage stopped the clock with 38 seconds left.
Well, they have 2 timeouts remaining. The Rampage do. Well, you know, they're going to need some sort of turnover here, I think.
Right. The Grand Rapids offense, their first 7 possessions, they scored 6 touchdowns, but they've been stopped now their last 2 times. Jim Kubiak from his own end zone misses Leverson. That'll stop the clock with 33 seconds and bring up the 3rd down.
Wing rocket? No, you gotta get 3rd down. Left wax, 50 wing in.
Left wax, 50, wing in, Z flat. On two, ready?
Yell's out, yeah.
Kubiak has passed for 7 touchdowns today, over 300 yards. 5 different players have 4 or more receptions. Flag down. Catch made by Leverson.
Yeah, Leverson in for Burks, playing that wing position. That was their crossing route. It's going to be a hold, though.
Against Dallas. That'll nullify the 1st down catch, but it will also give them the down over, which eats a little more time.
Yeah, but
holding. Offense number 97, half the distance to the goal. Repeat the down, 3rd down.
Rampage, it's on the center, Laverne here. But the Rampage didn't have to use a timeout either.
Right.
Yep.
There's the hold. .27 seconds on the clock. 10-point Dallas lead for the division championship and a home game next week.
And he's going to use a hard count here, try to get him off sides, get a free 1st down.
Kubiak. Down the field. Obvious hold by Grant. Defending McCullough.
The play earlier, we saw the hold on Laverne in the end zone. The outdoor game, that's a safety, not in the Arena League.
There's the hold about 4 different times. Just about took his jersey off.
You got the right part of the
multiple fouls on the play.
I believe that.
Holding, defense number 2, that penalty is declined. Pass interference, defense number 2, that penalty is accepted. 10 yards previous spot, automatic 1st down.
He's got as many penalties as the number on his jersey on that one play.
That's not good. What if you wore 96?
That's a real bad thing. Bad thing can happen. Well, you know, you really want to be playing well as the playoffs start, as we head into playoff season, Tom. This Dallas team, they're a team to watch out for. Should be the number 5 seed now, right?
Yeah.
And they can rush the passer. They've got a quarterback who's really, really good, and it looks like their defensive backs are coming on. So, not the top seeded team in the whole tournament, but they can be dangerous.
Showers rushing Kubiak. Protect him. And the pass into the stands.
And we talk about Dallas being the 5th seed. Well, they've had, pretty good success against those top 4 seeds. See a commonality over here, the number 3, but they beat San Jose and they beat Los Angeles. Couldn't beat the Florida teams, though, but every game decided by 3 points. So they played the cream of the crop very well.
And if they can manage to hold on for the final 16 seconds, they will be the 5th seed overall in the league and are guaranteed to play at Reunion Arena in Dallas next week. They'll host the number 12, the final seed, which at this point I believe is Las Vegas.
I bet it is Las Vegas.
And it's set to be Sunday at 3 in Reunion Arena for the Desperados. 2 o'clock in Dallas. With 11 seconds left. Timeout taken by Grand Rapids. We'll be back for the final 11 seconds. The AFL on NBC.
Somewhere between exits 45 and 50, an order was canceled. Somewhere between a hose and a radiator, there was trouble. Somewhere between noon and 2:30, there was a change of plans. And somewhere between where you are and where you're going, there's a Super 8. See you along the way.
I'm gonna have you eat those ribs. Let's do this. He's serious about this son. Look at that. Come to Papa.
Oh, look at that. You can never spread enough love. Grab your friends for Denny's Barbecue Days.
These are so good, too.
Taste our hickory smoked St. Louis-style ribs covered in rich barbecue sauce. Or for $6.99, try our tangy barbecue chicken deluxe. One of 4 great new meals. Check out Denny's Barbecue Days.
Baby, you might want to go in that kitchen and get this recipe.
Denny's, a good place to sit and eat.
11 seconds remaining in a 10-point game. Dallas on the verge of beating Grand Rapids. The teams will split during the regular season, but Dallas will go to 10-6 and will claim the 5th seed in the AFL. They'll play at Reunion Arena in Dallas. 3 o'clock Eastern time next Sunday. Kubiak not satisfied. He goes to Leverson for the touchdown.
You know, that's a little in your face. I'm really surprised at that call in that play. All they had to do is hand the ball to fullback and the game's over.
Instead, it's a 38-yard touchdown pass to Leverson. Well, that kind of stuff can come back to haunt you, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just didn't need it. Nonetheless, Jim Kubiak has had a brilliant day. 8 touchdowns now and 1 interception.
On the day in which he became the all-time single-season passing yardage leader in the AFL.
He has close to, what, I think 4,600 yards now?
Right.
I think he's 4,700 yards now. It's incredible. He's playing a 50-yard field.
Came in with 4,400.
And he's sold for 345 today. Yeah.
Well, the extra point makes it 62-45.
If I were Michael Trigg, I would not be real happy with that last call.
I don't blame him.
Well, they're going to be playing at home. No trip on Friday. And they'll be playing at home because of plays like this. Perfect throw. Now, look at that one-handed catch by Leverson. My goodness. Great coverage there, really. By Grant.
Yeah.
The AFL Championship starts next week. You want that at least that one game at home. You never know. You win, maybe you get another one. But this Dallas team, as we said, has enough firepower offensively and enough depth rushing the passer to beat anybody.
Grand Rapids fighting all these injuries, which have contributed to their losing streak. Hung with Dallas for a while, but the blocked field goal finally sealed their fate.
They're going to get most of those injured guys back next week, Michael Trigg was saying to us yesterday. So, particularly his defensive specialists, that he's definitely going to need in the playoffs.
Kickoff by Wells to Ross. Marshall, and Marshall just might score. He does. Flag is down.
Did they put their arms up?
No, they didn't.
What a
they didn't signal a touchdown.
Nice play by Marshall. I love, yeah, there it is.
There it is,
the
touchdown, finally.
We just love guys that never quit no matter what the score.
There is a penalty marker on the play as the water is being readied for Joe Abazano, one would assume.
Personal foul, tripping number 11 of the kicking team, or correction of the kicking team. Number 6 is what it is. That penalty is declined. touchdown. We will play the PAT. We will not play the PAT. The game is over.
That's what I said.
That's what I meant.
Well, a big game by Jim Kubiak, 29 of 39, 345 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. Shannon Culver had 8 receptions, 3 scores, 5 players with 5 or more. As Amusano gets the shower and is not happy about it, maybe Kubiak. And the hug will make him feel better. Once again, Dallas wins the Central by beating Grand Rapids 62-51. For Pat Haden and Lewis Johnson, Tom Hammond saying so long from Grand Rapids. Now let's join Al Troutwig in our studios in New York.
We're live at 30 Rock. This is the AFL on NBC, but you already knew that. Al Troutwig along with Michael Irvin and Glenn Parker. We had a great time watching these games this afternoon, but as things turned out, Dallas and Grand Rapids thought they were playing for a division title and a home game in the opening round of the playoffs. Turns out they weren't because Georgia lost as they were playing out. So both Dallas and Grand Rapids get a home game. And so in this confusing process. Yeah. You didn't follow along?
No.
We had 14 pages of what ifs.
And I'm trying to go through all these what ifs and what ifs this and what if. Folks, come on. I'm a football player. I can't read all this stuff. I'm a football player, man.
Don't spread the stereotype now.
Okay, hold on now. We're going to go back now to the site of the Dallas game at Grand Rapids. Lewis Johnson is with Jim Kubiak, who knows about leading.
He sure does, and they've taken all the mystery about the playoff situation for next week. Jim, congratulations. Tell me about the satisfaction of winning the Central Division and knowing that you'll be playing at home in Dallas next week.
It's a great feeling. We came down here with one thing in mind, to be focused and physical and to win the football game. We accomplished that, but it's just one step on the ladder that we're trying to achieve. I'm really proud of our guys. We hung together through some adversity during the season, and I couldn't be happier right now.
Tell me about your satisfaction, Jim, in knowing that you set the single-season passing record today, but you also did it with a touchdown that may have been piling on. Was that piling on at the end?
I'm not really sure, but I know as long as Aaron Garcia's in the league, he's going to break that record. So it's not going to mean much. It'll mean something right now, but next year, he's going to break it.
Was one of the keys here not turning the ball over? You had several interceptions the last 3 games, 7 to be exact. I believe you only had 1 today. Was that one of the big keys here?
I think so. We protected the football much better in the second half, and when we got a break, we capitalized, and that's what it's all about. I'm proud of our guys. I can't wait to play in Dallas next week. Great win.
And Jim, finally, psychologically, how do you deal with the beginning of the playoffs? Is this a new season for you, or do you cut it off? How do you deal with that?
This is a playoff game for us. We started the playoffs today, so that's how I'm dealing with it.
All right, congratulations, Jim.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Al, back to you, New York.
All right, Lewis, I don't know who's going to win the battle for most enthusiastic player in the AFL, but certainly Jim Kubiak is top 3. So the Dallas Desperados win 62-51. Tampa Bay gets the second seed, 42-38. We're talking about a team in Tampa Bay that gets a bye in the first round, but as you watch that game and you see them play out their 6th kicker this season, 6th. Can they possibly go to the playoffs thinking about a kick deciding a game with any confidence whatsoever?
No, I don't think they can. But one thing we've seen with Tampa Bay in about the last 6 weeks of this season, we have really seen a team struggle. They struggled against Colorado and lost. They struggled against Carolina and won late. They lost to San Jose. They struggled with Georgia the entire game. That's a team that's going to the playoffs searching for itself.
One other game we want to update, we've been giving you updates in the game that you've been watching. It's Indiana in Chicago, and they know that they need a win to make the postseason. 43-43. It's all about making the postseason for both of these teams, so it's on the line. Indiana kicked a field goal as time expired to send this thing into overtime, and so they're still tied 43-43. It was quite an interesting day, but we've played 16 weeks to eliminate 4 teams. To me, the drama was, you know, sort of a moment here and a moment there, but now next weekend, suddenly on Saturday and Sunday here on NBC, it's going to have a totally different feel.
Well, I don't know if we played 16 weeks to eliminate 4. I think we played the last 7 to eliminate 2. There was 2 that were out of it way before any of this started. Colorado and Carolina were never in this thing from the beginning. So really, we got down to this. It's going to be exciting next week with a lot of big games on the line.
I thought New York was out of it a long time ago, and I got food, so, you know, it will be exciting. I'm looking forward to the playoffs.
And one reminder, the games will be on Saturday and Sunday. It's not fully determined until the final playoff matchups are set which games will be Saturday and which games will be Sunday. That's due to arena availability, but we will be here 3 Eastern time Saturday and Sunday to bring you the opening round of playoff copy. So let's talk one more time. We touched on it at halftime. Just a quick thought to put in people's minds. The team you think that are going to come out of next weekend looking like they can do something a little bit more than just win an opening round game.
I got to go with Dallas, Arizona, and Grand Rapids. I think those are 3 teams that can actually go farther than just next weekend.
I like Dallas and I'm gonna like Dallas. I like Dallas.
I don't believe this guy is, if nothing else, he's consistent.
I like Dallas, man. But it's the point. Dallas has a great football team, a good football team, and they can play with the big boys. They just got to minimize their mistakes.
And I like Aaron Garcia and the Dragons. They lost their top receiver, and they were still able to win. All right, thanks for joining us. That'll do it for 16 weeks of the AFL on NBC. Next Saturday and Sunday at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on NBC. The AFL playoffs get underway, beginning with the unpredictable wild card weekend as the drive to Arena Bowl 17 gets in gear. And coming up tonight, beginning at 7, 6 Central on NBC, it's Dateline NBC, followed by American Dreams and the 2-hour season finale of Law & Order, Criminal Intent. For all of us here at 30 Rock, for Michael Irvin, Glenn Parker, I'm Al Troutwig. We will see you next weekend for the AFL playoffs.